Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Get Rob.
Only
The Fan Upstate.
Your two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. The Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. Howdy, y'all. Happy Monday. How's everybody? Because I got to tell you, me and the great one, feeling pretty good.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Feeling pretty good. Just grab this little box right here.
There will be those who say this doesn't matter and they're stupid. I just want to point that out.
Just grab this little box. We just open this, and would you look at that? Would you look at that fine little piece of hardware right there, ladies and gentlemen? Feeling?
See, I beg to differ. It's not little. That's as big as the building to me. Maybe as big as the county of Greenville, maybe as big as the state of South Carolina, because it kind of says that on there, doesn't it?
Sure does. I would like to say thank you to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association, because if I may just pat us all on the back for a minute, to be recognized for your work always feels nice. Of course, the old backpack from the people for whom we do this show, that always feels real nice. Every time that one of you guys come up to us when we're out in public, specifically Lonzo, and give us a big hug and say, hey, I enjoy the show. I like the show. Thank you guys for the show. It feels real nice. But to pick up some crystal from your peers, from other people in the industry that recognize the hard work, that recognize what goes into the show, it's got a nice little feel to it. It really does. So I want to thank the SCBA, but of course, I also have to thank you guys, because you listening to the show is, kind of how this whole thing works. It turns out, and this is weird, but if you guys didn't listen, if you guys didn't participate, if you guys weren't part of the show every day, they would not give us money for it. And if they didn't give us money for it, we couldn't do it as a job. And if we couldn't do it as a job, we most certainly could not, win awards.
I'm glad you put that away to keep it protected, because you might knock it off the thing, and that would be it's pretty solid though. It really is
a stout little trophy.
You know what's really cool is we will go down in the annals of this here state's records.
Oh man,
absolutely we will. So don't let anyone downplay this, the importance of this in the building and the importance of this period. It's an amazing thing. It really feels good. And we do want to thank everybody for this, because we have an awesome time doing this job every day, and to be recognized in front of your peers, both TV and radio. And I got to say, if you guys have seen the pictures, we stole the show. We stole the show without a doubt. Rob is wearing his red jacket. I am not going to dress the way I dressed
I don't know why not.
Saturday, because I only wear those things once.
You look like the best bad guy in every Western.
Yeah, but I was a sheriff. So,
Sheriffs are crooked, man.
Yeah.
I've seen every cowboy movie there. Yeah. Sheriffs are all the law. When Johnny Law comes a calling.
Like I said, I went as Brian Dennehy from Silverado. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
It's hard to describe. I wish that they would, and who knows, maybe eventually they will put the entire award show on TV because it would be kind of cool. I mean, put it on SCE TV. I mean, and there are rivalries in the room, especially the TV stations. You notice they were sitting on either side.
Yeah,
they were not sitting next to each other.
It was progressively getting more aggressive every time one or the other beat one or the other. There were two that cleaned house, right?
Yeah.
There were multiple TV stations represented, but there were two that were really cleaning house. And man, they were getting after each other. It was great. One was from Charleston, one from Columbia, and they were getting after it. It was great, man. It was great. But Joey B says Rob's going to use that trophy as the ball marker next time he plays golf. Yeah.
Well, he's got a couple of them now.
Yeah.
So, also congratulations to everyone else in the building who won awards. Like we said, we were nominated in 19 of 21 awards. We cleaned up to the point when we took our picture of, all of us together. Everyone had a couple trophies to hold. So that was really cool.
19 out of 21 categories had an Odyssey station from the upstate of South Carolina nominated. And I think 3 of those only had finalists from our cluster. So that was pretty rad, including ours. And again, I cannot tell you if there was a show in this entire state that gave me the shakes as far as whether or not we were going to bring home Crystal Trophy number 2. It was our partners in crime and the only other finalist that made the cut to be in that building Saturday night offside. So a hell of a run. And, I'll tell you, I was telling the fiance on the drive over. I was like, look, obviously all 4 of us would be lying if we said we did not want that trophy, right? Like, oh, I don't know. No. We all wanted it. We all wanted to bring this trophy home to our show. But I told her, I'll tell you guys, and I mean this with every bit of sincerity, if I was not going to win it, if we were not going to win it this year, there ain't but one show in this state that I would have, again, not been okay, but there ain't but one show in the state that I'd have gone, yeah, I get it. I get why we didn't get this one. We're coming back next year.
By the way, I'm not, for you, those of you on the stream, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. I was not shaking my head at what Rob was saying. Steven said we should recreate the Lombardi trophy toss with the Star Award. That ain't happening.
Could. Anybody got a boat?
That is not happening.
Anybody got a boat? So anyway, I do want to congratulate our partners, Mark and Diesel, for making sure that, no matter, in fact, the young lady who was emceeing the event pointed out that, it must be nice to walk up in the building knowing that whoever takes that trophy home, it's going to the same place.
It is, but we wanted to win. I mean, you're not in a contest now. We're on a sports station. That's what we do. Of course, we want to win.
100%.
And I was looking at, we didn't get to sit at the same table because the boss made me sit at his table, which was kind of messed up. I just want to point out. But maybe it was better because there would have been too much nervous eye contact. Like, we got this, we don't got this, we got this, we don't got this. But I was able to see my wife and Rob's fiance really well. And both were trying to be comforting to us as because everyone is nervous when this comes out. That the fact that you're there, you're coming home with something, but you want to be number one. Who doesn't want to be number one?
Very. Absolutely shaky.
The food was good too. I like the food.
Absolutely shaky.
They had nanner pudding that was really good.
And nanner pudding was pretty good.
Yeah, had to eat it with a fork though. That just felt weird eating banana pudding with a fork.
The nanner pudding was good. The chicken was good. The little chicken tornadoes. Yeah. Chicken tornadoes undefeated, man. I don't know who was in charge of the food, but they did a good job.
So they went heavy hors d'oeuvres, which means go up and eat as much as you can so you feel heavy.
Oh yeah, and I did.
But I just one more shout out. Congratulations to Rob also for being the merit winner for Sportscaster of the Year, and congratulations to Rob for winning this trophy again for the second year. And thirdly, which may not be a word, but I don't care. Congratulations to Rob and myself for, again, killing it how we dressed. Because if they weren't looking at him, they were looking at me. So, I mean, that's how it was. I had some dude come up and grab me really hard, by the way, on the shoulder and go, I thought he was Toby Keith or some, I can't remember. It was some country artist.
Nope, it's Toby Keith
And,
now.
and he said, I thought we was going to get a concert tonight. I was like, how you know you won't?
It's Toby Keith now. 100%.
And he just looked at me. He's like, I bet that'd be a great concert. And I was like, oh, yeah, it will be.
Multiple times I asked if I was there to collect my Country Music Awards award for the night. To the point that got the shout out from the MC. She was like, I thought I was killing the game tonight. And then that guy walked in. Red glitter jacket guy walked in and took the title of best dressed away from me.
By the way, I just want to point out the guy you were going against, Chris Miller, who wins all the time.
Yeah, that was number 13 for him.
He was wearing a sheriff's badge till I walked in. And he took it off, which was a good move because, the real sheriff.
Only one be one sheriff.
The real sheriff walked in the room, and there you go.
I do want to look. I ended up with the Merit Award for Sportscaster of the Year up against Chris. Chris, by the way, a phenomenal dude. I walked in the door. He walked straight up to me. He was like, Rob Brown, Chris Miller, great to meet you, man. Enjoy it. He's like, I've listened to your show on the stream since we introduced ourselves on Twitter. The show's great. I listened to it. He's like, listen, win or lose, we're getting a picture after this. We're having a talk. We shared a drink. Like, good dude. And if you're going to check in as second place in the state, doing it to the guy who's won it now 13 times, like, he's Brady, I'm Jalen. I'm not upset about it. Like, do I want it? Yeah. Will I be coming back to try again next year? You're damn right. I'm throwing everything I got at that guy next year. But if you're going to lose, I appreciate losing to a guy that walks up and shakes your hand before the game, not after it.
All right.
I respect that.
And I want to throw this out to people, and some of you will get this. I texted Rob. I was like, if you can get the DJ to play the DX theme, I will run around you like Shawn Michaels.
I'll be real. I forgot to.
Yeah. And if I would have done that. It would have been, there would have been 5 or 6 people in that room that would have got it. My wife would have got it. The boss would have got it. We would have got it. And probably some random dude, not a TV guy because they don't watch wrestling, but still, yeah.
I just forgot, dude. That's all it is. That's all it is. I forgot. I had every intention of walking and be like, do you have the DX theme? If not, can I send it to you to play? And I just flat out forgot to.
Don't doubt for a second that we didn't pose on that stage.
100% did. 100% did. And by the way, I'd committed to, had I gotten Sportscaster of the Year, 100% was going to hit a, yeah, from the stage. Turns out I didn't, so I didn't get to do it. That's all right. Coming back next year. The red jacket, for those of you that are not on the stream, you should be, because I am wearing it, but the red jacket has been retired from the window. It served its purpose. It was our motivational poster. I looked at that damn thing for a year. Every time I opened the door to the studio, it served its purpose. We put together a run. We got it. Now we look forward to number 3.
You know what? And the people driving down Garlington Road are celebrating because that thing would sparkle in a way that was distracting to traffic.
Yeah.
And now they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. So
now they can just look at that lonely Zion jersey hanging up there.
And ladies and gentlemen, jokes aside, I say this with all sincerity. I do, and I mean this, want to thank the great one because, A, he makes my job easier every day. B, this dude puts together submissions like Brady throws footballs. They're just on point every time. No questions asked. He is now, and we have added officially a new nickname to the roster. He is not only the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the Content Cash Cow. He is now the Sheriff of Sports Talk.
I'm your Huckleberry.
That's right. It's done. It's over. So thank you, Lonzo, because honestly, I just want to point out your submission won an award. Mine did not.
Gorsh.
So I appreciate it. Thank you for making my life easier. Thank you for making my job easier. And thank you for winning this trophy. Again, appreciate that. Texter said, and I quote, yeehaw. That's the whole text. It just says, there it is. Texter says, Rob, what does it take to be number 1? 2 is not a winner. And 3, nobody remembers. If you don't remember that song, that was a Nelly song. And it was a banger.
That's like the only line of the song I know, but I know it's a killer. It got killer music to it. Yeah.
Dope little. Who played? Yeah. Somebody famous played guitar on that. Was it Edge? I think it was Edge from U2 played guitar on that song, if I remember.
I don't know.
I think it was Edge from U2. I could be wrong. Sorry. The Edge. Very different person.
Yeah, I mean,
Very different
you
person.
know, once you throw the in there, you don't even need that extra E. If you're really a the, you don't need the extra E.
Texas said Lonzo looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future 3. That's from Luke.
I got to tell you.
You're not totally wrong.
I got to tell you, looking at that picture,
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
We might as well have been holding a clock. I mean, isn't that what they were holding in the picture? I can't
Yeah.
remember. I think it was a clock.
Texter said, congrats, guys. You deserve it. Rob, not looking forward to the day you get snagged up by big TV networks, but then I'll get to watch you on the big screen. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry. I'm about 30 pounds past big TV network shape.
You could lose that weight.
It's me and Windhorst.
Yeah, he don't. I mean, when you're good at what you do, they don't care. Does he still work there? I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
they
kept
purged
him.
quite a bit, so I don't know.
They had to keep that LeBron connection going. You know?
Well, there's that.
First time I'm on TV. Mom, the camera adds 15 pounds. Well, how many cameras did they have pointed at you? Never. Ugh.
Nope.
Texas said the outfits looked exquisite. Yeah, they did. Of course they did. Of course they did.
I never tell anybody exactly what I'm wearing until I show up. So, and no one understands how I can be so backward and everything in the building and then walk out. And it's hiding in plain sight, man. It's Halloween.
I think
It's,
Zoe pulled the hell off of that outfit. Killed it. Absolutely. He walked in. I was like, damn it. He got me.
yeah, but I mean, you stood out. We are exactly what we are. You're the glitz and I'm the grit. I mean, that's Weenus and Pitts all the way, baby.
Speaking of glitz and Pitts, let's talk Carolina Panther preseason football, because while we absolutely could sit here and brag all 3 hours of the show, we do need to actually talk a little bit of sports. So,
Yeah, but every quarter hour, because you know that's how people come and go, and we've got to make sure that they know that we won.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. So coming up on the radio broadcast, we're going to talk some Carolina Panther preseason football. Why? Because the scores don't matter. I don't know how many times I have to tell people. I get on the internets last night and I got Panther fans like, we got shut out. Don't get me wrong. Getting shut out is bad. The fact that you had BY out there 3 series and couldn't get within field goal range is bad. I'm not going to pretend it's not. Final scores, preseason records don't matter. Keep in mind, the 0-16 Detroit Lions were undefeated in the preseason. It does not matter. What matters is, did you show me anything? Did you show me that you're pointed in the right direction? And the answer for the Panthers was, no. No, you did not. For as good as that camp was supposed to have been over in the Berg, they showed me nothing in preseason game number 1.
Are we going to overreact?
We sure damn are.
Okay, cool.
It's Monday. It's overreaction Monday. It's knee-jerk Monday. So let's panic about the Panthers. We will. Coming up very shortly in the show. James Harden has decided to go ahead and implode today. Or maybe he's a master strategist. I don't know. But calling your owner and your GM in front of a gymnasium full of people outright liars is an interesting way to go about moving to a new team. So we'll talk about that coming up later on in the radio broadcast. Clemson and South Carolina, both in their preseason practices. Lonzo, we are, amigo, 12 days away from college football day number 1. Is it next Thursday? Yeah, it's next Thursday. Next Thursday! We got a slate full of Thursday night college football games. We should probably start making some predictions, should we? I think we probably should.
You know, there's something else going on. I don't know if you knew about this Saturday. There's this thing going on Saturday. I don't know if you knew about it. I hope you know about this thing going on Saturday. It's a football game that you're going to be at. That you're going to be, describing what's going on the field.
Sure, this.
Is it at home or away?
It's on the road.
Maybe wear it
better.
away
Yeah.
because we don't. I'm just thinking press box. You'll die if you wear that.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
This Saturday evening, your Burns Rebels are back on the radio as we travel to North Carolina, to take on Huff High School. They are the Huff Huskies.
Huskies.
Dude. That was,
Thank you very much.
that was moist. The Huff Huskies on the road up in North Carolina, just outside of Greensboro, North Carolina. So I got a little bit of roadie ahead of me on Saturday, man. Wake up, bet for the cycle, 2-hour drive, Burns Rebels High School, 2-hour drive. What a day that's going to be. Anyway, taking on Huff High School on Saturday, and you will hear the call right here on the Fan Upstate. And you know what this call is, Lonzo. This is submission opportunity number 1 for the 2023 South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Sportscaster of the Year.
There you go. There you go. It begins this weekend. You know what also happens this weekend? Week 0.
Week 0.
It's just yeah. But just
Week 0.5. All right, let's take a break. We come back. We overreact to the Panthers preseason game because Lonzo and I both said the exact same thing to each other when he walked in today and we started talking about it. We will talk about it in front of you, the people, when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. His name is Lonzo. We collectively are now the two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. Walker wishes that he could look like me.
all right. I will not. Maybe the new one. You want to diss Jared Padalecki? You go for it. Do not be dissing. That's right. All right. Admittedly, my headphones won't stay on my ears backwards, so I cannot wear the hat on the thing. I tried to put it another way, and I look like Little Bo Peep. So it just will not work. So you get it on the stream. I don't like that this looks good because I am not going to wear this a bunch. Plus, I keep hitting the mic stand. I don't want to do that. It's weird. Yeah, man. Don't go at Chuck Norris. Steven. Welcome to Boot Barn, which incidentally is where I got my hat. So, I mean, it's a good place. First time I've ever been in there. Always made fun of it when in there. It's a good place. I brought it, so I'm going to wear it, during breaks. But again, I can't wear it on when we're on the air because my headphones will not stay on. And it's not my hair because I didn't put my hair. It's the size of my head, You can make your head bigger by putting on a bunch of weight, but you cannot make it smaller because your skull's your skull. That's why I don't believe Barry Bonds' head got bigger because of steroids. I don't think that makes your skull get bigger, but I am not a doctor, so what do I know? I do know we won Best Sports Show in South Carolina. I do know I was the best cowboy in the place. I do know, despite what people think, I had fun. I also do know, as I said before, TV people are brutal. Also, I don't know how
they started hurting feelings early.
Yeah, it's like. Also, I'm afraid of how this is going to come across, but how tight can you make your dress? I mean, those people is like, whoa.
TV people, they earn that body. They're going to use
Okay, all right.
Our boss just sent me this picture and goes, look, it's Steamboat big timing the show of the year.
My family's making fun of me because they say I look like one of my uncles. Duh, we're related.
Does work that way.
Yeah. And as I told them, he wishes he looked like me. That's what it is. I knew it worked when I put the thing together and let my daughter see it, and she couldn't stop laughing. I was like, "Yep, that's it.
Nailed it.
I did." She also shares my dislike of country music, and she knows that I'm just trolling by being there dressed as a cowboy. Actually, I was just there to win, and that's what we did. We
I
won.
tried to. Lonzo won't get it as much as you guys. Well, some of you guys will. I 100% tried to talk Courtney into going to the Blind Horse Saloon on the way home dressed like this. She was like, "You will get punched if you walk in there looking like that."
Or you might get hit on. I mean, I don't know how the saloon's going these days. I mean,
Be flattered. I look good. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Alonzo with you on a Monday morning, talking football.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Let's overreact a little bit, shall we?
hey, did you see that video I sent you? The yeah video. You need to look at it. I sent it to you like last week. Not now. I mean,
You can't say you need to look at it, but not
no,
now.
because you need sound. It was like
gotcha.
a reel or something.
Gotcha.
A woman upset that all her all her husband does is go around and do that. So
I showed that to the fiance, and she's like, "I feel her pain." Because
no, I sent it to you to let people know that you're not alone. That a
100%.
lot of people are doing that. What the Panthers aren't doing is playing football. They should just end the whole thing. It should be over. Bryce Young is a bust. He's knew that they were covering by saying how smart he was. He got out there, couldn't do anything. The defense is porous. Run over. I mean, when you lose to the Cougar lover Zach, and he just worked you all over the field, it's embarrassing. We should all just go home. There. I've overreacted.
that is that's it. That is an overreaction.
Burn your jerseys, people. Burn
All
your
right.
jerseys.
So Lonzo did this fun thing where he overreacted, which means that my overreaction is now less fun.
Listen,
I get it. The big killer.
my overreactions are award winning. So I mean,
The great Ron Swanson once said, "Everything I do is the behavior of an award winner, as I have won an award." Okay, so then let's appropriately react, shall we? The offensive line stank, dude.
it was ugly.
The thing that I was genuinely the most interested in seeing, and again, there were some guys missing. You had some backups in starter roles. The problem is some of those backups in starter roles will probably still be in that starter role in week 1. Bryce Young's very first NFL pass, he got rocked. He got a welcome to the NFL shot. And for those of you that did not see it, if you are on Twitter, you can go to twitter.com/thefanupstate. I did a little mini breakdown. I gift it so that I could gift it to you. See what I did there?
Or
Nailed it.
Yeah. So if you
Nailed it.
said you gifted it, it would have been peanut butter and it wouldn't work.
Correct. I gift it for you this AM. And of course, because it was very early when I made said GIF and put it on Twitter, the tweet says Bruce Young's first pass. That's a combination of autocorrect kicking me in the nads and me getting up at 5 a.m.
As bad as he was, he might as well be Bruce Young.
That's what we're going to call him on a bad day now. Bad day Bryce is now Bruce.
Come on, Bruce.
Bruce. Anyway, the very first pass, unfortunately, was quite telling as to how the rest of the day was going to go for Bryce. The Jets lined up in a very interesting defensive front seven. They had nobody over the football or the guards. Both defensive tackles, top and bottom, were lined up on the outside foot of the guard on the right side and inside foot of the offensive tackle on the left side. Both defensive ends were playing like not even a 9 technique. It was like an 11 technique. That's how far they were outside. For those of you in non-football lingo world, a 9 technique is when the defensive end is lined up on the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. Heads up is a set, or at least last I checked when I played, heads up on the tackle's a 7. Outside the tackle looking in is a 9. These guys were
Rob,
playing an 11 technique.
So where does the numbers come from?
Coaches using the same terminology for 100 years.
No.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Holes are numbers.
Well, you have A gap, B gap, C gap.
Yeah, but they're also numbers.
I actually don't know the answer to that. Because no,
yeah.
you're good. 0 technique is set up on the center. 1 technique is inside foot of the center. Then you have a 3, you have 5, 7, 9. And then the Jets were playing an 11 technique. I don't know that that's actually what that's called, but he was like 2 guys outside the offensive tackle. On the right side of the defensive line, that is the left side of the offensive line, that would have been the side that Brady Christensen and Ike Ekwonu were lined up on. The Jets ran a stunt. Ike kicked the left foot back. The 9 technique defensive end started a bull rush right at him. He waited until Ike stuck that left hand out to generate contact. And when he did, the defensive end put on the brakes. While that was happening, the defensive tackle that was lined up on the outside shoulder of Brady Christensen just went on a full bull rush. Once he crossed the face of the defensive end out in the 9 technique, the defensive end put on the brakes and then cut back to the inside off of the back end of the rushing defensive tackle. Christensen at the left guard did what he was supposed to do. That is, he bumped the defensive tackle and he pushed him over towards Ike Ekwonu. In this case, Ike's responsibility would have been anybody rushing the inside gap, right? But because of the way the D-line was lined up, and because of the fact that the defensive tackle tried to go inside on Christensen, Ike assumed that was the lane he was rushing, turned his focus to the defensive end. When the defensive end crossed back across his face, Brady Christensen recognized what was happening and started to block the defensive end inside, back towards where the center was. The problem was Ike did not stay in his back pocket and create the wall. So the defensive tackle got passed off from Christensen, who thought he had Ike on his left butt cheek to pick up that block after he was passed on. Ike was still too far outside from chasing the defensive end to the outside. And when he did, the tackle was able to just slide into the middle and then basically had a free sprint at BY. That was the very first pass. Now, it's preseason for everybody. The Jets were playing their backups, right? The Jets play-by-play guy, when he was announcing the starting lineup, he was like, just an FYI, you can strike every one of the starting 22 for the Jets. None of the guys that are starting week 1 or projected to are out here on the field today. Which means that the guys that were out there were fighting for a job, right? These are guys that are trying to do anything above and beyond that they can do so that they can make the roster and preferably lock in it at a 2 spot. But that doesn't impact me all that much. This was, with the exception of Cade Mays, the starting offensive line of the Carolina Panthers. I expect them to be able to beat another team's second-string defensive line with some regularity. They got beat on play number 1 of the Bryce Young era. Pass play number 1. They had run the ball on play number 1. But pass play number 1, and it wasn't even like it was a wildly exotic defense. That's like the first stunt you learn on defensive line day in elementary school. Y'all didn't have defensive line class at elementary school? Day number 1 of defensive line class is a twist stunt. That is, defensive tackle lines up inside, works his way to the outside. Defensive end feigns the rush, steps back, turns around his hip, and tries to find a spot where an offensive lineman got fooled, find a gap and rush through it. That's exactly what happened. Now, Lonzo, if it was one play, it's one play, right? If it was one play, it's one play. I wouldn't get worked up about it. Problem was, it was that all day. The Jets were just stuck, not even extra blitzers, right? It's not like they were sending extra linebackers or cornerback blitzes with regularity. The Jets were running basic day one elementary caliber stunts of just the defensive line, and the Panthers' offensive line just could not get it done. They were constantly losing their guys. They were constantly falling to the tricks. It is one thing to have a bad day against a good defensive line, but y'all, this was not the Baltimore Ravens front seven. This was not the San Francisco 49ers front seven. Hell, this wasn't the New Orleans Saints front seven.
There's a couple things here. One, they just practiced against this team only one day, I think it was, because the next one got canceled. So the Jets held back in practice. They knew what Carolina was going to do from watching practice. So they kind of knew what the plays were. And can you figure that out in one practice? Yeah, you can. Because still things are vanilla. This is preseason. The other thing is and this is a problem across the board, across the league, because in the interest of safety, they don't hit like they used to in practice, and they don't tackle like they used to. And I'm not going back on my day, but there is a callus that you develop from getting hit a bunch, that you get from hitting people a bunch, and it takes a while to get to where you need to be, especially in the NFL. That's why it's taken a couple games into the regular season before these guys are looking like how they're supposed to look, because they don't do it in practice anymore.
I get it. I like the optimism. I don't need you to have one-on-one gladiatorial combat in practice to understand a blocking scheme.
Yeah, they're called drills. I mean, you should learn from those drills. But as you said, there's backups in there. It did not look like what I thought it was going to. In all seriousness, I thought it would look better than what it did.
It looked like trash.
Yeah, it did not. And it wasn't just about Bryce or the offense, and he really did not have time. It was about the defense. The defense didn't look good either.
No.
And again, you make Zach Wilson look so good, and who knows? Maybe the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers is making him look that much better. Maybe Nathaniel Hackett, that guy that Sean Payton doesn't like, maybe he's pretty good with quarterbacks and offenses. I don't know. All I know is the Jets looked a lot better than Carolina did, and it was kind of embarrassing.
I want to stick with the OL, and I want to get to the defense too, but I want to say one more thing about the offensive line. It wasn't just me, right? It wasn't just me. After the game was over, James Campen, the offensive line coach for the Panthers, called a private meeting for just the OL, right? Frank Wright gave his post-game speech to the team, and then Campen was like, offensive linemen, get to the room now. So they did. And after it was over, Cam Irving said, quote, "We had to keep it real with each other. That boat wasn't good enough. Top to bottom, no matter if it's preseason, regular season, the boat was not good enough. Any level from any position, myself included, especially my bleeping self, all we can do is try to regroup and fix it." That doesn't sound great, right? That doesn't sound great. I understand you can't take every quote from every player at 100%, especially in the heat after a game is over. Good, bad, ugly, and different. Can't. But y'all know I love to read into not just what people say, but how they say it, right? For Cam Irving to pop off with two boats and an F-bomb in that quote says to me he was above frustrated. Right? Above frustrated. And for him to do so candidly in front of a microphone says to me there's a little bit of panic there, right? And I get it, because, hey, I'm panicking too. The offensive line, if it is anything less than real good, the Panthers are in trouble. Saturday, Lonzo, The Panthers absolutely look like a team that a 6.5 win over under is appropriate. Honestly, they did.
I felt less than optimistic as optimistic as I was Friday, Saturday. It was like, oh
Yeah,
no.
Because you've called for double-digit wins this
I
season.
have. But you know what? We are overreacting, and it is one preseason game, but there are signs there that there are problems.
I was going to say, what I saw out of the offensive line, and again, the defense as well, and we're about to take a break, and we'll come to them on the flip side. What I saw out of the offensive line and out of the defense did not come across as something that's going to get fixed in 2 more preseason games and a fistful more practices. It did not look that way. That looked to me like a squad that was just not well put together. Now, we saw what Ike Ekwonu did last year, right? First half of the season, Ike looked bad. And then in the back 9 games of the season, all of a sudden Ike Ekwonu looked like an absolute dude, right? What do you allow? Like 12 sacks in the first 5 games of the season and then like 1 the rest of the stretch, right? The problem is this is last year's offensive line, right? It's not like, oh, new positions, new chemistry, new this, new schemes, new that. I mean, yeah, there's new schemes within Frank Reich's offense, but again, a scheme should not stop you from getting beat routinely and repeatedly by the most basic stunt moves from a defensive line in a preseason game. It just shouldn't. Saturday looked like a Carolina Panther team that's frankly going to have to fight to get to the over 6.5 wins. I've already taken the over. For the record, I got money on Carolina hitting the over. I think it'll be by a game, maybe 2. But I got money on them hitting the over. Saturday, I felt like, I might need to hedge that a little bit.
Well, we're going to Friday night, they play the Giants.
Yep, up in New York.
So another New York team, are they going to look the same as they just did? Will Bryce Young or Bruce Young even play?
Bruce. I think you have to, right? Like after that, I think you have to play him again. I do not think you can let that be his last impression of himself before he goes into the regular season. I don't think if he would have gone out there and had a good start, not even great, just good. I think you sit him. You go, all right, you felt it. You've got a taste. You handled yourself well. Let's get to week 1. But after that, no, I need my rook QB to have more confidence in himself and his offense than there's any way he took away from what happened in that game Saturday.
They took him out because he was getting killed.
Yeah.
I think he would have left him in if he wasn't getting flat out destroyed back there. I'm pretty sure I saw earlier that Russell Wilson in Denver played a good portion of that entire game trying to get his stuff down. I don't think they take Bryce out if the line is blocking well. If he's just having a bad game, but the line's blocking well, I think they leave him in there a lot more than what they did.
BY asked about that hit that you can see the GIF of in my breakdown on twitter.com/thefanupstate, said, well, that was a pretty good welcome to the NFL hit. Yeah, I'd say so. He got rocked. Problem was he got rocked like 4 more times that day. And the problem with getting rocked 4 times was he played 3 series, right? If he got rocked 4 times in a game, I'd be like, it's going to happen. It's the NFL. It's a job hazard. You sign up for it. But 4 times in 3 series is just not good enough. BY, by the way, finished 4 of 6 for 21 yards on the day. He went 0 for 2 on 3rd down, and neither pass was even close to catchable. Both of them sailed. So, Carolina fans, what's your takeaway of game number 1? Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up the hour, talk a little Panther defense on the show. Hour number 2, we'll start getting some college football. I'm going to tell you the projected order of finish for me in both the ACC and the SEC, and we'll do it next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Upstate.
CBS Sports Radio.
Rob looks like a mix of JR and Macho Man. I like it. I can live with it. Also, you know what I realized when I came in? Every time I wear this hat, I have to use the hat stretcher, which is in the car, because I stretched it all the way there, and I forgot to stretch it before I came up this morning. I don't know if you can see the line on my head from it.
You'd like wear it back further on your head. I mean, you're Mr. I got to cover up my eyes.
It's supposed to sit just above the eyebrow.
He's a man of mystery. I mean, like this?
Yes, sir.
Man, how do you see it like this?
If you're a real man, you don't need to look at anything.
Well, let's face it. Other than some Rob's hat stuff, this is the last time I'm wearing this hat.
Why?
So,
It looks good.
because
It looks good.
I'm not a cowboy, but I did play one Saturday night. I am an actor looking for my next role.
Actor. Lil Waylon J. Yeah, Lonzo does
Yeah.
look like a
I
70s
thought he was
country
talking about
music
you.
star.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about you, brother.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
What's that mean? I don't know what that means, Chatter. What do you mean I'm a Chad in the hat?
An absolute Chad, bro.
What's that mean? Is that like a Karen?
It's like beef.
If you mean beefcake, you're right. But stop it. There we go. Yeah, you know what? That's what I was getting accused of all Saturday night at the thing. Either that or a country star. And they
Dude, the hat looks good on you.
I have never watched that show, and I really don't have any interest in it. Not because it's popular, but because it's reality, and I only like sci-fi and fantasy stuff. How many times you hear me talk about a show I watch that's not sci-fi or fantasy? I don't care about reality. Reality doesn't pay well. It doesn't play well either. So did I look like a bad guy from that show or a good guy? Because,
You look like the ambiguous guy that you don't find out his true motivation until the end of the movie. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? We'll never know.
Chatter, I'm really looking forward to Ahsoka. It's in 2 weeks. Should I wear this hat to go watch Blue Beetle Thursday?
You should wear that hat everywhere.
Should I wear this hat to our thing Thursday?
Ooh.
No, I'm not doing that.
We should.
No,
Both of us.
not doing it.
Why?
Because that gives off vibes of something that at least I am not.
Hey, yo, we talk college football.
I'll just go around going, how you doing? We're goodness and them Tigers like a hey boy, it's good to meet you. I don't know which Billy the Kid we talking about. Emilio? I mean, I can be just as crazy as he was in Young Guns. I'd rather be. It wasn't Dirty Steve because he was dirty. It was the other dude that was a pugilist. Although, you know what a pugilist is?
Yeah,
right?
it's a boxer.
Yeah. So
Lonzo wanted to use his big time SAT words.
no, they use it in the movie. That's the first time I ever heard it. I get all my education from TV and stuff. Blue Beetle is it's a DC character. So if you're a Marvel fan, you automatically hate it. It's going to be heavy on special effects. I'll watch the trailer. It looks pretty cool. We'll see. But since most movies have bombed except for Barbie, I mean, who knows?
I
thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to, win the year as far as box office goes. And I think Barbie's already passed it up.
Oh, Barbie's on its way to $1 billion.
Yeah, it's just, I don't.
By the way, I don't know if I've done this yet.
That's just wild. It's like, speaking of special effects, How's that work? You're like blowing my mind, man. Whoa.
All right, I can't do the show with the hat on. You are correct. I don't know how JR does it. I do not have an issue with Zach Wilson going out and having a good day. All right? The guy was not drafted in the first round of the National Football League draft because he stinks entirely. The guy was sat down, I think, because I genuinely don't think Zach Wilson was ready, right? Like, we've gotten spoiled by a handful of QBs that have showed up and actually are ready in year number one. And let's be real, we are all really hoping that Bryce Young's going to fall into that category. I don't have a problem with Zach Wilson having a day. I have a problem with how Zach Wilson had a day. Unrushed, unhassled. It was the first time. Like, I have been very excited about seeing what this 3-4 defense looks like. And that lasted, Lonzo, about 7 plays. About 7 plays. I'm like, nope, go back to the 4-3. I like Ejiro Evero. I want Ejiro Evero to be the guy. I really do. We've talked with Rashad Beard a few times. I told him, like, last week, Ejiro Evero might be a big impact guy to the point that I'm afraid Carolina's only going to have him 1 year because he's going to be a head coach somewhere next year. But the Jets were just dominating that 3-4 yesterday. Now, I will say this, and this bothered me a little bit, Lonzo. They ran a 3-4, except for it felt like to me, and I did not run the numbers because I'm not going to lie, I watched this game last night. They had walked up both outside defensive ends almost as much as they didn't, right? Like, it was almost a 5-2 as much as it was a 3-4. Well, if we're going to do that, why not just go with both defensive ends and a couple of tackles in the middle? Now, granted, I know it is because the strength of this roster is the inside and outside linebacking core. The strength of this roster is the linebacking core, right? The strength of this roster is the second level guys. I see that. Anybody with eyeballs can see that. And you want to have more of them on the field than less. But if all you're going to do is use your outside backers to walk them up to the edge and basically eliminate them from anything running or throwing through or over the middle, and you're going to do that more than you're not, you are going to let guys like Zach Wilson eat you alive. All Zach Wilson was doing all day long was taking what the defense was giving him, right? We hear that cliche all the time. If you're a good quarterback, you take what the defense gives you. Sometimes they give you a big play. Zach was looking at walked up outside backers and going, all right, we're going to run it up the middle, which they did. We're going to throw it over the middle, which they did. And it worked out just fine. The defensive backs were not having a bad day by any stretch of the imagination. Zach Wilson probably could have had 2 more touchdown passes that Dion broke up. But my man, if you're going to run the 3-4, you have got to trust the 4 to be able to play sideline to sideline. If you are going to play a 3-4 and you're going to walk up a pair of backers to be effectively outside defensive enders every time, you're going to find yourself in a lot of holes. Because Zach Wilson ain't great. But if that dude is eating your lunch over the middle and doing it consistently and you don't do anything to fix it, look, Frank said we were being vanilla, right? We don't want to show everything until the regular season. And I get that. I get that. Oof. You better step up at least the game at the offensive and defensive lines next week because the Giants are coming too. Got a couple of texts from you guys. We'll read those when we come back. There is one guy we haven't talked about yet. So freaking Hayden Hurst. Told you. Going to be a player. We'll talk college football in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax,
Admittedly, other than my football helmet, which didn't fit very well either. This is probably the best fitting hat I've ever had, but I'm not going to wear it past today.
I'll take
It's
it.
not. No, I paid too much for it. I'm gonna put it on the wall. You know what this says to me? This is like a trophy.
That's fair.
This is a memory. And I'm not gonna trade or sell a memory unless I get, really desperate. But so.
It is radio.
That's 800-210-1005.
We're going abroad for the first time in years to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Yeah, Kevin, they lost. And you know what? They lost to Rob's football team. We're not talking about it because he hasn't brought it up. I mean, we can talk about how Mahomes played very little and how the backups, whose names I don't even remember, came back and almost won the game. But the defense, as it often does, allows other teams to win games. And they're in midseason form right now. And that's not disrespectful. That's truth. Yes, the city of Greenville is growing. Rob's your Chamber of Commerce guy, though. I hide in the woods when I leave here.
He does. Dude's got a compound.
Which reminds me, man, I'm going to have to go out in public in consecutive weeks.
Ugh.
What is going on with that?
Ugh.
Although that thing's not public, but still, it's,
Gross.
I know.
People.
I don't. Yeah, well. Yes, Kevin. The last I checked, they're still the reigning, defending champion, undisputed champion of the world. They are, until someone knocks them off.
Yes, Hatter. The Panther defense was absolutely missing a couple of their more important starters, but that looked as much a scheme problem as a talent problem to me.
That were interested in him, that were talking to him at the same time Bob was. Unfortunately, he chose to come to. It was important for me to get.
Chris just texted me and said, was listening to your show this morning. Thanks for the kind words. Congratulations again for all the awards. I can tell you personally that Sports Show of the Year is one of the most highly competitive categories each and every year. Lots and lots of submission. You guys are amazing. Keep doing great local radio.
Wow, you should pass that on to somebody else and their mentality about the award. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's something else that returns this week. Cole Bryson is Saturday Scramble.
Right,
Saturday morning scramble.
Cole Bryson and Alex Guest.
Got to make sure that they're going to be live at local Ingles stores. So we need to make sure we plug that. You can plug Alex. I mean, don't even mention Cole and the whole thing.
Just Saturday morning scramble with Alex Guest and that other guy.
Cole's not even in the country. He's in Nicaragua, I think, still. So, on a mission trip. He won't know. Nobody will tell him. Gable's in first break.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Hour number 2 of the Hour number 2 of the award-winning Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Yeah, you can't be forgetting that the South Carolina sports show
Wait, is
of
this
the
one-
year.
Is this
What's in that box, Rob? By the way, you can see what's in the box on YouTube, Twitch, X, or Facebook.
I'm going to give you all the warning. If you're not watching the stream, you need to go there now because this segment has 2 visual components to it. Okay? Now, you don't have to. You'll still be able to understand what we're talking about. But what we're going to talk about here in a minute is it's much more impactful when you can see what Lonzo and I are talking about. But before we do that, I believe, Lonzo, that this is what the kids call an unboxing. That's gotten very big on the YouTubes lately, the unboxings.
Yeah, because you don't know what's inside, except we did. We knew what was inside. Boom.
Crystal Trophy numero dos for your boys. Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association. Thank you to you guys sincerely, because without your input, without your listening, without your interaction, without you guys helping us be, a show, we would not be the 2-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. I blew my own promo.
That's okay. I mean, when you're celebratory, sometimes words are hard to form. I'm disappointed sometimes I'm disappointed that you don't get to talk at those things, because I wanted to use my boot barn voice and say, I want to thank everybody from the South Carolina Broadcasters Association for this here award.
First off, we'd like to thank all our listeners out there.
Thank you very much.
Because without y'all listening, ain't no point in us talking. So thank you guys sincerely. Two-time SCBA Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year.
Let's hope. Let's hope that
We gotta get to 5, bro.
that we get to 5, and they make wrestling the theme.
Gotta get to 5.
Because it's 5 time and wrestling is a theme. I mean, we can't pull off Booker T, but we can try.
Wait a minute. I have other news to get to you. The Greenville Swamp Rabbits put out their promo schedule.
Yeah.
For 2023/24. And on February 25th, which ever just so happens to be the night before the old Rob Brown birthday. The Greenville Swamp Rabbits theme. Got so excited I choked on
yeah,
the monster.
I mean, the tactical, you're a little slow on the tactical there.
I wasn't prepared. I thought I was going to power through that one. The night before the old Rob Brown birthday, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits play a game at home, and the theme that night, Lonzo, is pro wrestling night. Yeah! So I'm not saying I'm an influencer, but I'm saying 100% that I did that. Because they weren't going to do that. And then I talked to them. And I said, listen, wrestling's big. Just like NASCAR is big. Just like the outdoors are big. And if you want people of the upstate to come out and watch wrestling and watch hockey, put them together. And they did. Yeah! All right, so let's get into the thing I want to talk about here. Now, this is maybe not a direct sports story, but it is what we like to call in the business, Lonzo, sports adjacent. Okay? It involves a sport, not necessarily the playing of, although the playing of a sport is 100% the cause of this story. This weekend, the FedEx Cup took place. And for the second
Wait. Are you saying golf isn't a sport? Did you just say golf wasn't a sport?
No, I
Because
said
that's what I just. You said
no,
it was sports
no.
adjacent,
Correct.
which would mean it's not a sport.
You weren't listening. I said
Oh, I absolutely
the
was
playing
listening.
of a sport leads to this story that is involved in a sport but is not a sporting story. We are not
By
going
the way,
to talk.
thanks to clever editing, which I'm good at, that's exactly what he said.
No. But I will but there's a good reason that's funny to me. But I shall bring you this story anyway. The FedEx Cup took place this weekend. Lucas Glover, just like us, won his second trophy at one event this weekend when he took home the back-to-back FedEx Cup championship. But that, ladies and gentlemen, that is not why Lucas Glover was a story. Lucas Glover was a story because he, on the field, getting set for a putt, we all realized that Lucas Glover is suffering from a condition that many of us in the South suffer from. It is a condition that is not something that is controllable. It is a condition that impacts those of us that are sturdy individuals more than it does those of you that are in shape. And that is why it matters so much to me that we bring awareness to this story. This is why it matters to me personally that we do what we can to bring to attention, to bring to the limelight a medical condition that Lucas Glover struggled from and was exposed to all of us at the same time this weekend during his run at the FedEx Cup Championship. And that medical condition, ladies and gentlemen, it is one that I believe we have all suffered from at one point or another, is a condition, it is scientifically known as swampasitis, the swamp butt. Now, if you've never experienced the swamp butt, if you've never suffered through the swamp butt, if you have never struggled with the swamp butt, let me tell you, it is a condition that will take your best day and immediately turn it into your worst.
There wasn't audio on that video, was there?
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I don't know what might have been said.
And even if it does, I have my computer off, so we're good.
Okay.
There's no audio on the video. But if you're not watching, this is the visual component of the show that I advise all of you to go to the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, on YouTube by searching and subscribing to the Fan Upstate, or on Twitch by searching and subscribing to the Rob Brown Show.
That's just so bad. And
I'm going to let it run for just a minute so that those of you who are joining the show late, and by the way, yes, I mentioned it and the stream viewers have spiked because everyone understands this condition. And I'm very simply going to say, ladies and gentlemen, leave Lucas Glover alone. Why?
He went to Clemson.
I know, but listen, my man.
Because, Gamecock golfers, that never would happen to, but a Clemson golfer, I mean, obviously,
well, then call me a Clemson golfer, because if you are claiming that you have never suffered from a chronic case of swampasitis, you're a liar. You're a liar.
No, because I'm large and I'm hairy, the sweat's just everywhere. It just doesn't go in one spot. It's just like I'm drenched. It's like I just took a shower.
The swampasitis is real. It is a struggle.
And I don't wear pants, so there's that.
Okay. All right. I mean, I get it. I am team no pants at the house, but it turns out when you go in public, Lonzo, and I didn't know this until recently, they make you wear pants. It's a thing that you are required by law to do.
Dude, I'm not wearing pants right now. I don't get your point.
Oh, you mean shorts?
Yes.
I get it now.
Yeah. You went somewhere that
Oh, no. Listen, if Rob Brown's at the house by himself, hell, if Rob Brown and the fiance are at the house by themselves, I'm not wearing pants. You just go ahead and book that.
I can't wear this shirt and not crack on someone from Clemson. I just can't. But that's a bad look. I mean, I wish you would take it off the screen because every time I look up, it's right at the point where it's like,
For those of you that are not on the stream, you should be. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, or The Rob Brown Show on Twitch. Go there now. Lucas Glover, as the day wore on at the FedEx Cup Championship, was, let's just say, struggling with the heat. It was a very warm day across the United States on Sunday, and Lucas Glover went to line up for a putt towards the end of the day, and the camera just happened to be at an angle that was filming Lucas Glover's backside as he took his belly putter and lined up to go one stroke closer to victory. And instead of looking and going, oh man, that's like a 2-footer. That's got to be money. He's got a good angle. It's a flat part of the green. The cup is placed into the flat. He's good. Instead, what we all saw was a very public case of swampicitis playing out right in front of our very eyes. My man Lucas had the butt crack and cheeks imprint from his chronic case of swampicitis.
all right, I'm trying to not reach over and take it down because it's bothering me, dude. It's so.
It's bothering you. How do you think Lucas Glover felt?
Rich.
Moist.
Well, probably moist. Yeah. I mean,
Chafing?
this is a perfect time for, one of those startup companies where two dudes like, we hated when something was like this. So we made our own company to come up with pants that don't do that.
Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
maybe we should do it. It should be, hey, Lonzo and Rob here. We saw Lucas Glover and we thought, you know what? We never want to see that happen to another human being ever in the history of mankind. So we made pants that won't do that.
Lucas Glover is suffering through a case of swampicitis that would have shown through pants if they were black. Those pants could have been made out of a roof tarp and it would have shown through. I don't know that there's anything he could have done to stop this case of swampicitis.
I don't know. I think fireman's pants. I think they're like water resistant. I think maybe wear some fireman's pants.
Dude, with that much swampicitis, he would have slid out of the pants. That is just an unbelievable reality that and by the way, I go out of my way to defend television dudes, all right? Because I've been there. I played that game. It's hard work.
Apparently, those pants have already been made. I mean, there's several different brands
that
are water resistant.
I go out of my way to defend TV dudes because I think TV dudes get a lot of hate, and it's a tough job. I did it for 3 years. It's a tough job, all right? But whatever director was sitting there in the control truck, and he's like, hey, we're going to go to camera 2. Let's get a clear view of Lucas Glover's swampicitis. Let's get a clear view of Lucas Glover's back end as he struggles through this medical condition he's dealing with. What do you say? And some poor switcher guy was like, boss, listen, you're the boss, but do we really want to humiliate this guy like this? Right? And for the record, you sturdy fellas out there listening to Uncle Rob, swampicitis is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a condition we all suffer from. And if anybody tells you that they don't suffer from swampicitis, they are lying to you. All right?
By the way, quick shout out to Gamecock Tommy, who was on the camera that day.
That director's like, hey, let's get a picture of Lucas Glover swampicitis. Go Cox. Love it. I do fit. Listen, I don't care how much money he won. And the answer is a lot. He won a lot of money for winning a back-to-back FedEx Cup. And I get that. All right. I still feel bad for Lucas Glover because the legacy of FedEx Cup Championship number 2 is going to be his chronic case of swampicitis. And I feel awful for that guy.
I just gotta point out, I really don't like that word. I just want you to know that I don't like that word.
Well, it was that or drop the swamp A every time. At least I tried to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, you did. You did. I'm uncomfortable.
That I specifically am calling it swampicitis for you.
I like how Joe spelled it. It works better that way. He used to C.
I feel bad for Lucas. My dude went out there.
I mean, people do embarrassing things all the time or something embarrassing happens to him. Dude just won 2 golf tournaments in a row. I don't know how much money he made, but I'm sure it was a lot.
I mean, north of a few mil.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think he's all right.
Let's say he won enough to buy new pants, which I hope he does, because those are rent.
I think he made enough to have a research company find a way to make this never happen to me again.
Lucas didn't make enough to buy new pants. He bought enough to buy a new pants company. He just buy the whole find me some pants that don't show my swampicitis on national television, and I'm going to buy the whole damn company.
Hi, this was me a year ago. And I thought, I don't want this to ever happen to another person on the earth. So I went out and I bought this company, and we made it to where Swamp Booty Clothing will always be there for you to stop your moisture. Do you think Depends would stop that? I'm just curious. I don't know.
You ever go sit on a golf course on a hot day, and after making a birdie on 7, you sit down in your cart to go to 8 and you just slide off the seat for no reason? Well, when it's warm outside, I want you to think of Swamp Booty Pants. Swamp Booty Pants, your choice for protecting your derriere from humiliation. Buy Swamp Booty Pants today. I freaking love it. Unbelievable.
Available at Kmart, Target, and wherever pants are sold.
Wherever major pants are sold. Listen, don't. And for those of you, Kevin's right. For those of you that are saying you've never struggled with swampicitis, you're either from like Alaska or you're a liar. You spent your entire life in Wisconsin or you're a liar. One or the other. Because if you're telling me you've spent more than, 3 days in the South and never once had a case of swampicitis, I don't know. I don't believe you, man. I just don't. Poor Lucas.
I just want to point out, I never said I didn't have, I'm serious. If I'm going to get that wet, it's wet everywhere. It's not selective. I mean, there's nothing on me dry. So.
Texter said, I quit wearing underwear 20 years ago and haven't had it since. No, you are wrong. You absolutely have, Texter. And listen, I'll wait TMI. Rob Brown occasionally goes Team Commando. Join me. It's very freeing and relaxing.
I must admit,
if you are telling
never, ever have I done that because of There's Something About Mary. So, I mean, because of that movie, you just can't do that. I know that can happen if you are wearing underwear. I get it, but for some reason, I just no.
I'm very simply going to say,
what? Why not underwear? I mean, why? I mean,
because you've never felt more free than when you catch that nice, good breeze going Team Commando. It's just like, oh, the world's amazing.
Yeah, but do you have you sat down and forgot and and a nice breeze catches things, and there you are out in the wind for everyone to see?
No, because I don't wear a kilt.
No, shorts can do that too. If you're wearing, how much room I got in my shorts? On the legs, by the way.
I mean, listen, here's all I know. All I know is I'm a big fan of going commando occasionally, but
all right.
Leaving the house and it is
text line stream.
Outside.
Have you ever gone commando? Because this is weird. This is almost as weird as your reaction to me with the hot dogs. It's people don't do that, do they? You don't go commando.
Yeah, they don't come up with a name
no,
because one of us is doing it.
Unless you live in the jungle or something, and when you're born, they put a diaper on you, which is basically underwear. And then after that, you put underwear on. You don't go around without underwear. It's weird.
You tell me you don't roll around in just the boxers when you got the house to yourself?
But that's still underwear. No,
right, but you're just wearing one layer.
Right.
It's the same as going commando.
No, it's not.
My golf shorts versus your boxers, it's the same number of layers between the world and you.
Yeah, people don't do that.
Texture says mostly nowadays it's women that go commando. I have never. Texture said, oh, no, I'm not reading that one. Not reading that one, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. Texture said, a condition unlike any other. Yeah, nobody wants that. I am just telling you. Look, even we got Kyle checking in on the stream. Commando is the definition of freedom. It absolutely is. It is so nice. So nice. Especially when it's a little warm outside. You're walking down the street, that wind comes up just the right way. Amazing. All is right in the world. There is no war, death, and poverty. There is only comfort in this moment. All right, how many, let's be honest. How many of y'all go commando? The answer is not 2 of us, all right? Kyle owns it. Kevin owns it. P Digits owns it. Texter said going commando is amazing.
All right.
The gentle breeze.
All right. I don't often do this, but you guys are all lying. I don't believe any of you. I do not. No, actually, I believe Rob. I don't believe any of you. I think you're just being on his side with this. And none of you are saying, you get all these cool little sayings. Commando is a definition of freedom. And I keep commando strictly for date nights and stuff like that. But that's not saying that, well, no, I just don't believe you. I don't. And I don't want you to prove me wrong either. I don't.
Listen,
but
I'm just saying, a thing doesn't get a name like that unless it's got a reason for it. Texter said, so the 2-time champ is talking about swamp-ass-itis. How you think we won this thing, big dog?
hello.
How you think we got to be the 2-time?
'Cause it's entertaining.
Jacob says, I can't. The boys need support and security. I mean, again, time and place. If I'm playing basketball, I'm not rolling out unguarded.
What is, again, I'm not having the reaction you did about eating the hot dogs out of the pack, but this is, I can't believe this. And you're coming out to the world and saying you're not wearing underwear right now.
Because we're not ashamed of it.
That's weird, dude.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. As long as the hiney is clean, who cares? It's good. Texter says, commando on the weekends, work needs drawers. Yeah, that's 100%.
Roger, you are so wrong.
We got to take a break. I can't do this anymore.
Oh, you definitely can't read that.
I feel like at the end of this show, if I get called to the boss's office, I'm just going to be like, trophy. Like, yeah, we did spend a segment on swamp-asitis, but trophy.
Dude, remember the show down the hall. We have so much freedom.
That's true. You know who else has freedom? Guys who go commando. Nailed it. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. We might talk some sports coming up. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the fan upstate.
Gables.
All right, guys, got a live read. You guys stay right there. We'll be right back. Can you unmute me, sir?
So whatever your industry,
I didn't mute you. You did.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Ah, I thought it said it couldn't. Bush 18, what's up, fella? Welcome to the stream. Mad Chatter, dude. I don't know what kind of shorts you're wearing, my guy. You don't go commando in jeans. You go commando in like khaki shorts or basketball shorts or sweatpants or joggers.
So how do you know that? Is there a place you go to read about what you, or you just know? Or is it by experimentation, having, incidents that let you know, okay, I shouldn't do this with these shorts?
Button fly. See, I can't get down with a button fly. It's too much work.
Especially
if you're in a hurry, like for us.
Had some back in the day, and it was very,
Much work. Especially like for us, we're like like mid segment, I'll be like, oh, I gotta pee, and then we gotta wait till the end of a segment. Or if you're Lonzo, I make them wait an extra 7 minutes at the end of a segment. I'm trying to get in there, get my business done. I'm not trying to fiddle around with a button, man.
Crunch burrito is back at Taco Bell, thanks to rewards members who voted for it on the Taco Bell app. Filled with seasoned beef and flaming hot Fritos, it's as crunchy and beefy as it sounds, and as delicious as a vote winner should be. Get one today at participating Taco Bell locations while supplies last.
This week on Offside, it's going to be Carlos and Diesel manning the fort. They're going to have the very latest on college football's realignment. How are the Carolina Panthers looking in the preseason?
He said Carlos's name wrong. He's supposed to say Carlos with a K.
Carlos with a K.
Wherever you get your podcast, and I will see you on August 21st.
Number one for real afternoon sports talk.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
Also, he did that thing where, anyway, I'll tell you later.
Real sports talk for real sports fans.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you be a part of the radio broadcast. 844-326-3663 is the phone number. 844-326-3663. That's the number to the fan phone. You can text us on the CarPros. That's why we're award winners. The CarPros.com text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with fan.
And for all your underwear tips, go to the stream: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X, and you'll get some tips.
All right, let me tell y'all real quick. I don't
Because
mean
it's
to
still going, by the way.
Oh, it's not going to stop. For those of you that haven't gotten the chance to, or I should flip that I have not got a chance to establish a personal relationship with off the radio, which, by the way, the overwhelming majority of the people I now call friends in the upstate came obviously because of the show. So if you ever meet me in real life, and I think Lonzo can attest to this, Rob Brown on the air is not much different from Rob Brown off of it. I'm just as loud and annoying in real life as I am on the radio, right? Yeah, I'm not like, there's no character for me. It's just me. I just do my show. And I've been asked multiple times, like, how much time do you put into prepping the show? And the answer is, it's always been, it's about 1 for 1. So for like every 3 hours of radio, I've done 3 to 4 hours of prep. That does not include time spent watching games, etc.
I'm writing a chapter now: preventing swamp booty.
Yeah. The reason you'll hear a lot of hosts that put like 6, 7, 8 hours into the show. And the reason I don't do that is because, I've got my show segments. Like, I wanted to talk about how the defensive line of the New York Jets was killing the Panthers' offensive line, and they were doing it just based on stunts. It was nothing fancy, nothing exotic. They just ran a bunch of stunts. And I'll give a whole breakdown, and I'll break down X's and O's and all that. But what I can't do is plan on a segment where for whatever reason I feel compelled to convince the great one that going commando is indeed a real thing. And there are many of us that enjoy it.
For all the things that you and I are alike on, and a lot of our interests, there are some things that we are far apart on. This probably, even more so than our politics, is the farthest we've ever been apart from each other.
And again, I think there are some misconceptions here, right? Like we had, who was it? Let's see. I forgot who it was in the stream a minute ago, but somebody said, there it is. The Mad Chatter said, talking about Lucas Glover, the subject of the last segment, is his fella made of leather? What about chafing? Well, again, you don't go commando in jeans. That's a bad plan. You're going to have a bad time. It is reserved for like khaki pants or sweatpants or basketball shorts or joggers. That's when you go commando. When you go with a nice, comfy fabric. That's when Team Commando comes in clutch. I don't do it with jeans. That's a bad plan. But yes, it is a thing. It is a real thing. And many of us very much like it.
Ain't nobody else in this building doing that but you.
I promise you you're wrong. I promise you you're wrong.
Guarantee the other show, not doing it.
I do not disagree with that.
Right.
I do not disagree with that.
So
though you might be surprised.
The award-winning station, the Fan Upstate, only one of us is the oddball who goes commando. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to ask.
I'll send Mark Ryan a text right now.
Do it.
No, I can't because he may actually be somewhere where it would be inappropriate. But I'll send Diesel one.
Is it bad that makes me want you to do it more?
Contrary to popular belief, I am not a bad person, so I am not going to do that. If I see him, you know what I'm going to do?
Asking both.
You know what? I'm going to send a group text.
That's fine.
I'm going to send a group
Send
text.
it to everybody.
No.
Put the big boss in on it too.
Okay.
I bet he does.
Okay. All right.
I bet he does.
All right. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't care.
All right. We'll come back with the results. All right. Let's get some more stuff in here on the Rob Brown Show, the two-time award-winning Rob Brown Show, and the Fan Upstate. We talked some Carolina Panthers. Actually, I was going to give you, I'll tell you.
Wait. Would this be an HR violation?
I feel like it's show material, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's taken the wrong way, I'm not sure who HR is in the building, but I could get in trouble. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to do that. It's if anyone's going to get me on an HR violation, I can think of a couple people who might try.
I don't know.
There's nothing. Well, it could be because some people could be into, I hear you don't wear underwear. Yeah, you know what? I'm not sending it. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. I am not doing that.
Oh man.
They've been trying to get me. No, I'm not giving them a reason.
All right, let's get one thing in here.
You
quick.
can do it. You send it.
I'm just going to ask face to face.
I say now you're scared too. Is that worse?
Here's the thing. Here's my thing. If I go, hey, we had a show topic today, and it led to this question, don't feel obligated to answer. My thought would be, if I get hit with the HR call, I'm gonna get hit for talking about it on the radio, right? Like you can't be like, is it just because it's a question? Should I phrase it differently? Should I just bring it up and then let people volunteer the information on their own?
Yeah. I just, this is, of course, me overthinking, but also being very cautious. And in this day and age, I don't know. Normally, if, a few years ago, maybe I wouldn't have hesitated, but now I hesitate. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk into everybody's office and be like, hi, Rob Brown, host of the award-winning Rob Brown Show and this year's South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year with a question for you. Let's just preface it with, this is what it gets us when you answer these questions.
Well, in other places of business, radio is weird. It's even weirder than what you guys think. It's indescribable how weird it is, and the things that you can say and have been said in this building that there's no way you get away with anywhere else.
Correct.
could you go up to your coworkers? Let's say you work in a factory like at GE or someplace like that. Could you just go up to your coworkers and go, "Hey, Bob, you go commando? Can you do that? Because I don't know. I don't know."
All right. Let's get away from that quickly. So we have talked a lot about conference expansion. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, like literally this segment for 4 minutes and then I'm out. It's not even about expansion itself. It's about one specific thing that happened.
Nope.
After Washington and Utah killed the Pac-12 alongside Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and who am I forgetting? Utah State, Arizona, Colorado. That's it. Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. That's it. The four corners. Along with Washington and Oregon, they all bolted the Pac-12 instead. Well, Washington State University athletic director Pat Schoen was not super pleased with their in-state rivals who bailed. The Huskies are gone. The Cougs have stayed. And the Cougs are in trouble. And, of course, as soon as all of these schools left and went to another conference, effectively, like I mentioned, killing the Pac-12, or at least as we know it, the conversation started popping up about rivalry games, right? Because they're now out of conference. Washington State is now a non-conference game. Oregon State's now a non-conference game, or at least it will be at the end of this season. Utah State, now a non-conference game. And so people started asking the questions like, hey, are you still going to play the rivalry game? Are you still going to play the rivalry game? And there have been discussions about the Washington State game, a game that very frequently rotated back and forth. People have asked about, all right, should we play it in Seattle at Quest? Should we play it somewhere else? Should it be a home and home that the two schools agree to? Should the government have to get involved and mandate this game take place? How do we do it? Well, Washington State University athletic director Pat Schoen was asked about the rivalry game, the Apple Cup, as it is known. And Pat said, quote, "We're not going to make an emotional decision about playing the Apple Cup. We'll make a business decision about playing that game." Which is interesting to me, right? It is interesting to me because it kind of feels like the old internet meme, he said the quiet part out loud, right? Like we all know there are underlying motives for decisions being made sometimes. And you can come out and dress the language up as flowery as you would like. But we all know more often than not, there are undertones to decisions being made. And as I've told you guys 100 times and will 100 more, every college football conference expansion or realignment discussion is always made by money. Always. That's why I got so frustrated last week with Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, coming out and going, well, money's not the number one driving factor. Well, then tell us what is. Tell us what is the number one driving factor. It's not convenience or well-being of athletes, right? Every decision made about all of this realignment stuff is being made based on money, based on finances. And here you have an AD finally admitting it. And I appreciate it, by the way. I don't think that Pat Schoen intended to say it this way, but I appreciate him coming out and saying it this way. We're not going to make an emotional decision about playing the Apple Cup. We'll make a business decision about playing that game. Yeah, every school and every conference that has moved or expanded has made a business decision. We get more money. That's good business. That's all this is, right? So they have the opportunity to go ahead and keep this game active and alive. And you have the AD of a school saying, you know what? If it is profitable, we'll do it. Not we care about the rivalry. Not we care about its history. Not we care about its tradition. Not we care about the fans and the pride and the in-state passion that everybody has for this game. Nay, friends. The AD has just come out finally, and again, I'm grateful for it, said straight up, if it makes us money to play this game, we'll play it, and if it don't, we won't. It is hard for me as a fan and as a radio talking head. It is hard for me to take the argument seriously from anybody who's a non-fan, right? And when I say non-fan, I'm talking anybody acting in the role of a money-making entity in college football. Athletic directors, coaches, conference commissioners, conference presidents, whatever. It is hard for me to hear them say, oh, it's all about the passion. It's all about the rivalry. It's all about the tradition. It's all about blah, 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 blah. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Now, I understand that this AD, Pat Chone, was in a spot where they were emotional. Why wouldn't they be, right? They just got left holding the hot potato when their in-state rival jumped conferences and killed the one that they're in with no consideration for them. I get that it was a very emotional moment, but people tend to say things that are more accurate representations of their feelings when they are in an emotionally unstable spot, right? When people have a couple of drinks, when people are confronted with danger, when people are confronted with aggression, that is usually the spot where they are much more open about how they feel. Doesn't always make sense, but feelings sometimes don't. And that's exactly what this feels like to me. He said the quiet part out loud. It is always about the almighty dollar. Back after this to wrap up hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Joe, that's the funniest thing I read today, and I almost lost it on the air while Rob was being serious.
Cowboy Underoos. It's like they're not there at all.
That's how we do it out on the record.
Place, bundle, and save at progressive.com.
The Pac-12 screwed the Pac-12. They really did. Hilarious as any wrestling reference is, they really did.
The video coming from Shams on Twitter. Harden on his China tour was speaking to spectators on a basketball court. So Harden, 2 days after Philly halted any trade talks with the Clippers, committed to skipping Sixers training camp still and locked into not remaining in Philly after he exercised that $35.5 million option back in June. Baseball, the league looking in a social media post surrounding Rays star shortstop Wander Franco. The post would indicate that he had an inappropriate relationship with a minor. Hasn't been confirmed yet.
I tell Chris there's probably no way I'm going to Dragon Con because I can't walk that much. No, my leg just won't. It won't.
It's a lot from what I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot if you want to do more than like one thing.
I mean, I really want to go, and I'm off that week. I took that week vacation. So, but I also took that week just in case the doctor says surgery, and then I'm going to do it while I'm on vacation because I wasn't going anywhere anyway.
You wouldn't use your medical leave for that? I would.
Well, we'll see.
What's up, everybody on the stream? Tiffany said, Rob, are you excited about some Swamp Rabbits hockey? Miss you, friends. See you soon. Yes, she will, Miss Tiffany. Very excited about it. They put out the they put out the promotion schedule,
That hurt.
and you know
They
good
don't
and
tell you
well.
that hurts. Oh, that hurts.
Did you hit yourself in the nose with your hat?
Yes, I did.
It's not very cowboy of you.
I'm adjusting. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, it's all good.
I can't tell if I'm putting it on right or not.
February 25th is wrestling night for the Bunnies, and you better believe right. Too much or the perfect amount, Zoe?
Hey, which way is forward?
The one facing me.
Okay.
The smaller side goes on the front.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Too much or not
I wore it
enough?
right Saturday.
Do I, Zoe? Do I go as a ring announcer for that game? Do I go as Macho Man Randy Savage for that game? Or do I go as like every bearded wrestler and do a costume change every segment I'm on the Jumbotron?
Well, I would go for that one, but that sounds like a lot of work.
Yep.
You could go as Finkel, but no one will get it. You got to go as a wrestler.
I think it's Macho Man, right?
Because it's a visual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a Macho Man robe though?
I'll get one. I mean, I'm already getting a flare robe for our wedding reception because I'm an adult and I got permission. Not permission. I don't need permission to do anything in my relationship. I got a blessing. There's a difference.
I'm trying to figure out how to do the siesta. This is how it's done.
Yeah, you want it to just cover basically the
No. I'm talking about siesta. So I'm asleep.
Oh no,
I'm
then you lay the head back and you pull it down all the way over.
I ain't doing that. I can't breathe. I try to do this so people think I'm asleep, but I'm actually listening. Learn all kinds of stuff that way. You can't go as Finkel though, James. No one to get it.
Also, that's a different Finkel.
You could go from you could go for the Dapper Yapper from AEW. And then you just wear what you got on right now.
The rated R superstar. My favorite part is they decided not to do WWE night or AEW night. It's just wrestling night.
Look at Tiffany's post.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Who
wears a robe in AEW?
I don't remember anybody coming in the ring in one. And MJF wears a boxing robe with the Burberry print on it. Starks? I don't think Ricky Starks wears one. I don't know. Who was it? Do you know, Tiffany? Or what they look like? I'm gonna show up as Braun Breaker, just in the wrestling onesie. By the way, nothing ticked off the wrestlers more than calling it a onesie.
Yeah, I bet. Show up in the hat and get you a jean vest or whatever. Go as Brock.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Brock the jorts and come with Stone Cold one day.
There you go. I don't think you'd do that though. I don't think you'd do the jorts.
Only if I can find the knee braces.
Well, yeah, those things are expensive, so you probably don't want to do that. Obviously, we have a very short time.
Yeah. I have to tell you, very excited about the break, great one, because you know the lady a couple of weeks ago that got on the airplane and screamed that mother bleeper is not real?
Yeah, there's a video out there. Supposedly it's her, but her hair's a lot longer. How'd it get that long? I guess you can go weeds.
She had her hair up on the airplane.
Did she?
Yeah, she had her hair in a tight bun on the airplane.
All right. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
She has just posted an update video where she is commenting on the plane incident. And if you think I don't know what she has, or I don't want to know what she has to say, you don't know me at all.
I'm sure it's going to be like a Chelsea Green promo for sure.
All I wanted was to speak to a manager, and instead I saw a lizard person in the bathroom. I'm just telling you, that mother bleeper back there, that mother bleeper's not real. We made that into a clip on Bet for the Cycle, a segment that I'm totally, when that show's over, stealing for this one. called That Mother Bleeper's Not Real, where we highlight the best week-long performance in Major League Baseball. It's Shohei Ohtani every week, but it's going to be fun when we move it over here.
This is like when Michael Jordan should win every year,
Yep.
whatever. So
Yep.
it's the same sort of thing. So
Yeah,
Shohei
except
should,
Except we don't politic our awards. We give it to people who deserve to win. Like the South Carolina Brewers 2-time sports talk radio show of the year.
Oh, that's us. That is us.
Show is. All right, kids, that's 2 hours in the book. Third hour, we got some college football. I am going to tell you my predicted and projected order of finish in both divisions of the SEC and the ACC top to bottom, and we'll do it next. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. You are listening to the two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns,
I was telling Super Dave, the program director for B and Magic and all those stations, about what I'm going to do with the Rob's Hat thing, how we're going to write an entire album, which, is partially written already. And then I'm just going to go up on stage, sing one song and quit. No one is shocked when I tell them that I would do that. Thing is, if I went up there and the crowd was really into it, they'd have the guts to quit. I'm taking you out of utility.
during these hard economic times, get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
Did that not
Babbel's
play?
conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language.
All I know is every rose has its thorn.
You know what? Good for her. She apologized. She took full responsibility. She said it was inappropriate. I regret it and owned it. She didn't be like, oh, she owned it. I respect that. Good job, Tiffany.
Did she own that she was on drugs or something?
No,
And that's why she
just said, I
saw.
let my emotions get the better of me. It was inappropriate and over the line, and I sincerely apologize to everyone I impacted. And I respect that. She made an actual apology. An actual apology. That's rare.
All the action of the season opener right here on the Fan Upstate. Pregame begins
Can't
at
tell if that
5
played or not.
Kickoff at 7 p.m. Furman, Tennessee Tech, August 31st, right here on the Fan Upstate.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is back and bigger than ever. Don't miss the largest ticket sale of the season, Friday, August 18th. All tickets will be 35% off for 1 day only.
Heck with it. Wouldn't fit anyway.
At madworldattractions.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs. How do your clients know that? Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first. So,
All right, now you confused me, Chatter, because I don't know who that is, and I just I thought you were talking about somebody else. So
They got her, Rob. I knew it. I was like, when did the conspiracy theories start?
well, she's obviously been replaced by the
Yeah.
lizard people.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
What other possibility could it be?
so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement. Sounds like a big responsibility.
so is her response full of cursing?
No, in fact, she apologizes for cursing. She's like, I can't imagine what it must be like to have like a kid on that plane who heard that and have to try to explain it to them. I feel awful about it, and I'm sorry.
So I can use this as a sign of impending apocalypse Saturday, proving that she has been replaced by lizards.
Some of us cuss like sailors and then don't when there are kids around. It's shocking.
I bet there are kids on that plane. So it's, that's the reason why I asked. It was more for radio purposes than it was anything. I will say there was a famous philosopher in the 20th century who let all of us know that this was going to happen. Her name was Nana. And she talked about red balloons, specifically 99 red balloons. And in that great edict of philosophy and prediction, she talks about scrambled jet fighters. And she talked about balloons. And she was completely accurate. I think she should be commended and should have been listened to, but we didn't.
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 9 to noon, only on the
Hey, did you know we're on a new time? Is this our first award at this time slot? Or is it second? I don't know. How long have we been at this time? I don't know. What day is it? Maybe.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. Rocking and rolling on the broadcast today. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the great one, the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the Content Cash Cow, the Sheriff of Sports Talk. He is the great one, Lonzo. And collectively, collaboratively, we are now your two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year.
Are you projecting? You said it 3 times.
Just looking ahead.
You said it 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah!
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 Ah, it feels good to be a winner. It does. And I got to tell you.
Don't act like we ain't been there before. I mean, yeah, it feels good
Listen,
being back where you
I am
belong,
100% not a act like you've been there before guy. Nope. Every time we score a touchdown, we dance in the end zone. Every time. Because this is supposed to be fun. Football's supposed to be fun. Basketball's supposed to be fun. And if I score, I'm having fun. Lonzo and I stuck it into the end zone on Saturday night and brought home another piece of hardware to proudly display on the shelf. I should probably take it out of the box before I try to show it off.
Yeah, pull the trophy back out again. You got to
Sure, why not?
Yeah, before it goes up on your mantle.
I wasn't going to. I was going to act with nothing but humility in this segment.
Well, thank you for doing as instructed. I mean, there it is. There it is. Put it in closer so they can read it. I think they can read it if you put it in there.
Yeah. It's clear. It's because it's crystal. It's what we do. We just win. No, in all sincerity, it is.
When
people
you're
overuse the word humbling.
Yeah.
I think right. Like, no, it's not humbling.
No.
It inflates my ego even more because I know the competition we were up against.
By the way, if you think it's humbling, you should have again saw how the TV people were reacting when they won.
Like they won the damn Super Bowl.
I mean, it was. I mean, when we looked civil compared to, but we were calm and cool on the outside. But what another great experience, and it's so cool when you're in high school and you go to the awards banquet and you win an award for being the smartest kid in the school. Some of you might know that. I've witnessed it. I wasn't that, or if you the football banquet, all that kind of things, and you think this is over. It's over. Not every profession has this sort of thing. And radio and TV do. And I think it's it's an amazing thing to get invited to. It's an amazing thing to be nominated for. It's beyond amazing to win. And when we go, if there is a theme, we do that theme. That's what we do.
I got to tell you guys, like I said earlier, and I'll say it one more time, to be out in public and for you guys as listeners to come up and say, we listen, we enjoy the show. Like, it genuinely, truly makes my day every time. There's never been a time that somebody's walked up and been like, dude, I love the show, that I don't get giddy. All right. So I'm like, that's great to know. It's fantastic. It is also fantastic to be recognized by our peers, right? It is fantastic to be recognized by other people within the industry, especially when you're up against people who have been doing it a very long time. And then on top of all of that, to go up against a show and a host and a producer that I have obviously the utmost respect for in our Counterpoints of the Afternoon, for this station to have not one finalist, but both of the finalists, makes it even that much sweeter. And I've said this a number of times, and I mean it from the bottom of my icy cold heart. If I specifically, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think if we were going to win silver, I got no problem winning silver up next to the people that were other finalists, Mark, Ryan, and Diesel. But to be able to not only be a finalist alongside Offsides, but to win that thing is incredible. It's incredible. I will also tell you that we were talking earlier back in the first hour of the show. And when we talked about it, because I also mentioned the fact that I won the Merit Award, a.k.a. Silver, in Sportscaster of the Year from a legend in the biz, Chris Miller, from up in North South Carolina, who has won it like, you counted the other day, was it like 13 out of 16 and now 13 in a row? No, sorry. It's like 16 out of 18 and 13 in a row or something ridiculous.
Well, I was jealous, so I stopped counting.
That's fair. He told me at the banquet, he walked up and he's like, dude, I listen to the show now. Like, since we met on Twitter, good show. Really enjoy the show. And I said, hey, look, going up against that guy is like going up against Brady. Like, no, it's like going up against Mahomes. Like, I know how Jalen Hurts feels. I'm damn proud to be here.
I was going to say Brady's retired. So, I mean.
I'll go with Patty M. I'll go with Patrick Mahomes.
Or go with, like Aaron Rodgers or somebody.
Sure.
Because he's been in a while. Mahomes is still recent.
No. I got to go with the dude who's got multiple. In fact,
I'm
going to stick with Brady because the dude's got a lot. All right. And
I secretly hope he's offended by the Brady comparison.
I don't think he is, because I told that to his face.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean he wasn't cordial and went, thank you, Rob. And it's like, man, Brady sucks.
No, that dude gets it. He wrote in, he said, I can tell you personally, Sports Show of the Year is one of the most highly competitive categories each and every year. And that dude's been with the SCBA for a while now. So I'm taking that to heart, and it's appreciated. So anyway,
I could be less than humble and think of how many of those I've actually won, but I was very braggadocious.
Good word.
A year or so ago, and then we weren't nominated, and it devastated me. And I thought it was because I was being a braggart, and I should not be such a thing. I mean, I should take pride in my work and in our work, but not get in people's faces and say, you number two, we the ones. I probably shouldn't have did that. Probably should not have done that.
Listen, I will say this. I am not going to say, oh, it's humbling. No, it's boosting the ego. All right. I will say I am beyond honored. I will say that I am incredibly grateful. And I will say that, and I mean this part maybe more sincerely than anything else I've said, you guys made this a thing. Like, I know it's annoying when you see a Super Bowl trophy celebration and you get that one player who grabs the mic first and he's like, this isn't our trophy. Or this isn't the team's trophy. This is our trophy. This is for you.
Well,
insert random city here.
It's your trophy because they only make one.
Right.
So that's how that works. Even on like our sister station down the hall, Hawk and Tom won a couple. They get one trophy.
Yeah.
So, that's.
Well,
if I have any complaint about the BA, if there are multiple, I know if it's like 10 people on a show, you can't make 10 trophies, but there's like 4, make 4 trophies, man. Do that. Help some other people out.
When I said I meant
yeah,
audience.
No, I got you. Also, really quick, a shout out to the Tims and Diesel, because unheralded, get a slip of paper, that type of thing. And we work really hard too. And I don't think the producers ever get as much credit as they need to. I get plenty of credit over here, but I don't think they do. And they absolutely deserve it. And I've already congratulated them when they got nominated. I'll go over later on today and talk to them about that. But it's an awesome experience. We really appreciate it. We don't want to act like we know we're going to be there every year, because last year proved that's not true. And so we're going to keep striving. We're going to do more quality radio. And I'm sure Chris Miller, I hope he was listening during the Going Commando thing and wondered, why did I ever say any nice things about Rob?
Yeah. Over under number of times the word commando is said in next year's submission. I'm setting it at 0.5.
Yeah, I don't know if, I don't know if that, it might be award winning.
For the record, and this is what I was driving at. Yes, this is an Armada trophy. 100%.
Driving at Armada.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
This is an Armada trophy. This is on you guys. Like Lonzo and I was going to say we wouldn't be sitting in a tiny box talking to ourselves as it wasn't for you. We probably still would. But it's much more impactful when you guys listen and participate in a part of the show. So thank you guys. Again, congratulations to Offsides, Mark and Diesel, because just being a finalist is a hell of an accomplishment. And I say that I brought home merit, which is silver medal for sportscaster, and I'm so proud of that too. It's hard to get on that podium at all. So congratulations to them. And again, thank you guys for being part of it. Keegan wants to know when it's his week with the trophy. I'm not going to give it to you for a week, Keegan, but I'll tell you come to the next Triumph game. I'll let you take like a beer luge off of it.
That's not cool. How come he gets to, and then
you
I
get
don't?
It too? What are you talking about?
That's all right. If I can't keep it forever, I don't want it. Yeah. I want to also point out how proud I am, and everyone is here, of everyone in the building, and how well we did this year. And I know that it's very important for us to do well in this thing. And that's why you should never downplay how important these awards are. And again, it's awesome to be nominated, but dude, it's so cool to win.
It is. So again, thanks to everybody that participated. Thanks to you guys for listening and interacting with the show and being here, because, well, without that, we would not be winners. Again, let's get some sports in here, shall we? Let's talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference, shall we? 2 weeks ago, we covered ACC Media Days live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spent a few minutes talking to head coaches and players from around the ACC. Well, so did other members of the media. And after it was over, we were all asked to vote on our projected order of finish of the Atlantic Coast Conference. And so we did. We all decided to jump in. There were 67 media members, including myself, who were invited to vote on this award. On the projected order of finish. 67 media members, including myself, invited to vote. And this is how it broke down. Scratch that. I lied to you. It was not 67. It was 176. Numbers are hard for me.
It's close.
Yeah.
61. Yeah. Really
I was
close.
looking at the wrong parentheses. There were 176 media members invited to vote.
But only 67 of them mattered. So they only
that
counted.
That is not correct, and you're going to hear why in just a minute. Starting from the bottom, now we hear Virginia checked in with 365 points. Tony Elliott's team had a struggle last year, but there was a lot going on at Virginia. Obviously, a first-year head coach. There were some off-the-field issues that had to be dealt with as well. And Virginia really never put it together. They are projected to do the same again this year. Struggle in Tony's second year, 365 points for the Cavaliers. Right behind them, or I should say right ahead of them, Boston College. And again, I am good with the media list so far. I got no problem with BC checking in at 13. This is a team that I do think will be better this year. But as we have mentioned a number of times, or at least I will stick by it, I do think ultimately that this conference is going to be the best it's been in a number of years. So even though BC is going to be better, it's still going to be in the bottom third. And they're down there, one spot behind the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. I like this team. I like Brent Key. I like the direction he's taken. And let me tell you why I love Brent Key. Brent Key's got the old offensive lineman mentality. Lonzo, when it's work time, it's work time. Get the lunch pail, put the lunch pail on the blue collar, and get to work. But when he's not talking football, he's a very likable dude. Every Georgia Tech player that I spoke to when we were there had nothing but good things to say. And listen, very rarely, if ever, are you going to come across a college football player who's like, hey, man, tell me about your head coach. And they go, hey, he's all right. You know what I mean? Like they're all, but when you talk to the Georgia Tech dudes, it was glowing reviews. It was above and beyond complimentary of this guy. They truly believe that Georgia Tech should and has the ability to be back in contention for this conference. And it's been a while, right? We talked about this at ACC Media Days. This is a team that I think is working towards getting back to the history, to the legacy that Georgia Tech used to have. There is a reason that when the University of Alabama sings They Fight song, they still mention Georgia Tech because they used to be in that category. They believe they can get back to that. And I really like Brent Key pushing in their direction. That being said, even with a better team this year, I still think it is very much an uphill climb for the Rec. They check in right behind Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech checks in fourth to last with 678 points. Again, this is a team that I just like the mentality. We had Josh Fuga on. Fuga is a starting defensive lineman. And by the way, Zoe, I don't know if I've told you this, about 2 weeks ago, I guess a little bit, maybe a week and a half ago, Fuga hit me up on the Instagram. He's like, hey, Call of Duty? Word. So I played Call of Duty for like an hour and a half with the starting defensive line of Virginia Tech.
And you forgot to mention it. I know when you interviewed him that you exchanged all that kind of stuff, and you probably thought, yeah, this probably won't happen. And then, okay, so how good is he? He's good.
There was, I forget who it was, but there was one other DL on the squad who was wiping the map. It was unbelievable. I told him at the event, I'm like, hey, just FYI, I suck, but I'm funny. I suck, but I'm the comedic relief.
Were you funny?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were having a ball.
All
Great. Syracuse, Dino Babers checks in at number 10. I don't know if this is going to be good enough for Dino to keep his job. All right. I absolutely think it's a hot seat year for Dino Babers. And I think that now, that being said, for the Cuse, they have an opportunity here because they catch a couple of teams alive at very good times. They catch a couple of teams at a very, very good time. And I mentioned one of them being the the Clemson Tigers, right? They catch Clemson the week after Clemson has what I genuinely think is the biggest game of the year, the Florida State University Seminoles in week 4. Then Clemson goes to Syracuse in week 5. If Dino can win that game and say the Carolina game, then I very much think Dino Babers is going to be able to hang on to that Syracuse job one more year. Media says they check in 10th out of 14.
I know you say he's on the hot seat, but in the ACC and a lot of in any conference, when the team is basically a cellar dweller and has been for a while, what are the expectations when you hire someone? Do you really believe they're going to turn it around to the degree that they're going to actually win a championship?
I mean, again.
You've got are you unrealistic if you're thinking that in a school where they haven't really done that before?
My thought would be if Cincinnati and Louisville and UCF can make it to the playoffs. Shut up, UCF won the national championship. I'm dying on that hill.
No.
If they can all do it, why not? Right? Like Lonzo, of all the people on planet Earth, you are the one that I would expect not to accept a school having the mentality of, hey, as long as we're like 7th.
No, you're missing the point. I said the people who are doing the hiring, do they not look around? No, I believe any team can turn it around and do that. But the people who are hiring, what are their actual expectations for Syracuse? So when they hired him, what did they expect him to do? Did they expect him to compete for the ACC championship? Did they expect him to make the playoffs? Or did they expect him to be, a little bit above 500?
I can't imagine that the expectations for Cuse aren't higher than 4-4, 7-6, right? Like I can't imagine they're looking at with a bowl win, a game over 500 every year and thinking that's okay. And even so even if you hire a guy,
that's still he got better from one year to the next, right?
Even if you hire a guy, Dino's been there a minute. It's not like this is year 3. Dino's been there a minute. Right? At some point, you got to go, Coach, we appreciate you getting us here, but we got to go another step. And you're not that guy. Wake Forest checks in at number 9, according to the media. I don't have any problem with that, although the loss of Sam Hartwell's a big one. Again, I think he's going to do big things at Notre Dame. And I absolutely think Wake Forest is going to feel his loss. They got Louisville at number 8. Pitt and Duke tied 6th. I don't have an issue with this. None at all. Pitt is a team that I spoke to a lot of people at ACC Media Days, and they believe Pitt's going to have a voice in the ACC championship game. Not necessarily play in it, but could very well have a voice in who does.
I was going to say, what, they're going to go and cheer? Whoever.
No, I mean,
voices in it. I'm trying to imagine.
I think it's more along the lines of they might pull a couple of upsets here and there throughout the year that would change the title race. Because, again, no divisions this year. So I think Pitt, who gets North Carolina, they get Florida State, they get Syracuse, they get Notre Dame, they get Wake Forest. They could absolutely. And by the way, that schedule is not awful for the Pitt Panthers, right? I know we did some schedule breakdowns last week. That schedule does not set up awful for the Pitt Panthers. They do not have to play Clemson. The worst problem they have is they catch Tennessee in week 2, but that's in Pitt. Outside of that, they got Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Louisville. They're at North Carolina, followed by Syracuse. Then they got Duke and Miami to end it. Pitt could genuinely be a 10-win team. And if a couple of the teams at the top, FSU, Clemson, North Carolina, slip and also go 10-2, Pitt could backdoor their way in. I also, as I've mentioned a couple of times, really like the Duke Blue Devils. And y'all have been giving me absolute hell over pointing out the fact that I like the Duke Blue Devils. And I like the Duke Blue Devils because of what they did last year. They were 9-4. 9 wins. Let's take a look at the 4 L's. They lost to Kansas at Kansas by 8 points. They lost to Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech by 3 points in overtime. They lost to North Carolina at North Carolina by 3 points. And they lost to the Pitt Panthers at Pitt by 2 points. So if you take the first L at Kansas, which was an 8-point L off the board, their other losses came by 3, by 3, and by 2. Now, I'm bad at math, Lonzo, but that's a combined 8 points. They lost 3 games by a combined 8 points. And oh, by the way, the other game they lost was by 8 points. They were 16 points away from being undefeated in the ACC. Now, those types of games, those 3-point wins, are the games that separate a decent program from a good program and a good program from a great program. I'm not sitting here making the argument Duke's going to be in the ACC title game. I am saying if you sleep on the Blue Devils, they might catch you. When we come back, let's take a look at the top 5. We'll do the same thing tomorrow for the SEC. For the record, the reason I am listing all these is because I'm actually lockstep with these media votes so far. The media votes came in the exact same order that I have them. The top 5 do not. And I'll tell you what I mean by that when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo's on the other side of the metaphorical glass. Your 2-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, The Rob Brown Show, returns on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got a live read right here. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Not increasing the pay.
All right, dudeskies.
Sponsored by Blindster.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010,
As God is my witness, he's been broken in half.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
I love people realizing, looking at the picture from the Star Wars, Rob's taller than Lonzo. Yes, he is.
Trey, me, Jack, and Joey B are discussing exactly. It's Halloween, of course we're doing it. I want to go as what was the guy that Hogan fought at WrestleMania that dressed in the muscle skin suit? Giant Gonzalez. That's what I'm going as. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Robin the Great One with you. 844-326-3663. You can text this on the carpros.com text line at 71307, 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air.
Start that text with two-time champs.
It's a little wordy, but I don't hate it.
I don't know where it would go if you did that, but you know.
To all of you that have sent us the congratulatory notes, please know that they have all been seen, noted, and very much appreciated. To all of you guys on the stream that have been so kind, thank you guys as well.
And if you think it will die down a little bit, we will continue to mention it for an entire year, just like South Carolina mentions the entire year after they beat Clemson. I mean, you got to do that. You do.
Mention what?
That we are the two-time sports show of the year in the state of South Carolina. That's right.
What this is for?
That's right.
Huh. How about that? I'll wipe the fingerprints off. Got to make it pristine.
You know, 50 years from now, when people look back and go, look at these awards. Let's look through the history of the awards. Oh, look at those guys. Those guys have been on that stage a bunch. How many awards did they win? What was that for? Oh, that's for best sports show in the state of South Carolina. They must have been pretty good.
I feel like we get to 5 and then quit.
No.
So we can say 5 time over and over.
I don't want to be a bit killer, but I'd have to leave the room.
Fair enough. Respect.
Already.
All right, let's keep going through these ACC rankings. So far, Virginia, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Wake, and Louisville from the bottom up. Then there's Pitt and Duke. At 5, according to the media members who voted on this poll, at 5, they have the Miami Hurricanes. Now, this is where I put Miami too. But I am going to tell you, I was very close to having both Duke and Pitt ahead of Miami. I do not believe in Miami. I'm sorry to Hurricane Jeff, to our guy Zach. I'm sorry to all my Canes fans out there. I do not believe in the University of Miami. I believe in your quarterback. I absolutely think that you guys are going to have a pass game this year. But explain to me why it is that I should believe in a team that last year, according to Miami fans, gave up the minute things started going wrong, right? Explain to me why I'm supposed to believe that Mario Cristobal took a team that quit last year. And again, go back and watch. Go back and enjoy. I did. That team quit. Now, I understand this is something that is hard to put numbers on. I understand that this is something that is difficult to quantify. It is hard to make empirical. But I think if you go back and you watch Miami after like week 5, week 6, you can see a team that's just going through the motions to get the season over with. How am I supposed to believe that Mario Cristobal suddenly just turned that mentality around? I don't. I think you got to flush that. You got to cycle that, and it takes some time. That being said, I do think Miami is more talented than Duke and more talented than Pitt, so I'm going to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, and I got them at 5, and I got no problem with that. The media votes came in with NC State, Dave Doran at number 4. Now, they did receive one first-place vote. And if I was in charge of ACC Media Days, I can tell you I would find out what media member voted NC State the number 1 team in this conference, and they would not be invited back to ACC Media Days next year.
Come on. Come on. Your vote is your vote. Vote how you want to vote. If you want to vote as a joke, it's your vote. Do it. I don't get why that bothers you so much.
It bothers me a lot because it has taken me a long time to get to the point where I have earned enough respect to warrant being able to vote. And if I
do you think when they're
busted it-
counting the votes, they go, yeah, but this vote means more because this guy really is into it.
No.
This guy just has his handler take care of it.
No. But I can also tell you, they don't just hand these things out. They're not mass emailing the country and going, hey, everybody, you have to cover the ACC and do so on a legitimate platform for an X period of time before they go, okay, you have earned the right to vote in this media poll. So for somebody to vote NC State as the number one team in the conference, no. Now, if NC State wins this conference or is even playing for the ACC title, I will eat this crow and wear this L. But I'm not worried about it. All right. I got him at fourth, though. I really do. I think Dave Doran's Wolfpack defensively is going to be uber aggressive. I think there are a couple of upset wins hanging out there for the Wolfpack. I really do. Schedule wise, and again, we've broken these all down, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. But schedule wise, it sets up very well, right? They get ECU, Charleston Southern, Texas Tech, and UConn out of the gate. That's 4 tune-ups for the Wolfpack. They should be 4-0 when they come down to Clemson. Now, the only problem they have is the trio of games packed in the middle. They're at Clemson, home for Florida State, at Syracuse, back-to-back-to-back. I don't love that. They come off with Virginia Tech, Wake, Boston College, Louisville, and then at North Carolina on rivalry weekend. NC State could realistically be 9-3. I think 8-4, but they could be 9-3. If they can snag 2 of the 3 in the middle, Clemson, FSU, Syracuse, if they can snag 2 out of 3 there, which would be a feat, they could be a 10-2 program. Top 3. North Carolina checks in third. They got 5 first place votes. If NC State got 1, I don't see how North Carolina only got 5. Now, I will tell you, they did not get my first place vote. I know you all cared a lot. They didn't get mine. But
after all your hype of North Carolina, you didn't vote them number 1?
My hype of North Carolina is legitimate, but my hype of North Carolina ends with they're better than FSU or Clemson. Okay? I don't have them there. I like this team. I like Drake May. Drake may even receive a little bit of scratch from Rob Brown on the Heisman race. Drake May checks in, tied with Cade Klubnik. I know he's going to be good, right? I believe Drake May is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in football this
How
year.
is Drake's handoff skills, though? I mean, because it's really,
Pretty good.
Really important.
Pretty good. North Carolina at 3 is fine. That's exactly where I put them in my poll. I just could not put them ahead of FSU and Clemson. So let's get to the top 2. The top 2 in my book, I went on the record. This is how my vote was submitted. Clemson 2, FSU 1. I really do think Florida State has turned a corner here. And before you hit me with, Rob, you came from Florida, you're a homer. Let me once again tell you that the fandom is switched off at the door. And I'm not a fan of every Florida school, obviously, number 1. And number 2, I get paid to give you my genuine, opinion-free thoughts and takes, number 1. And number 2, as I've mentioned 100 times and will 100 more, you guys understand I get paid more if Clemson does well, right? If South Carolina does well, if Furman does well. I get paid more money. I hope that Clemson gets back to legacy status. Because that means there's at least 2 more games, hopefully 3 more games that I get to go out and do stuff and get paid for it. All right? But I think FSU has a couple of things going for them. Number 1, and I need Clemson fans to be honest here, with me and with yourself. If I gave you the choice right now, here, I'll even let Lonzo stand in and represent the Clemson fans for a minute. I know he's very happy to do so. Lonzo, if I told you that you had to put 6 months of your salary on the line on a football team to go undefeated this year, but you get your choice of quarterback, You taking Jordan Travis or Cade Klubnik?
I hate this question.
I don't care if you hate it.
Because
What's the
if
answer?
I pick the other guy, whose name I don't even remember after you just said it, then obviously I'm a Clemson hater. But if I pick Clemson, then I pick Clemson.
Join me. Join me on the seat of, I'm trying to come up with a smart ass name for it. Join me on the seat of you can't win. So, knowing that both of us can't win here.
Well, I'm not used to being on that because, we just won the championship for the state of South Carolina.
Sure did.
We are the champions of sports.
And part of the reason is because we're unafraid to give our opinion. Lonzo, Jordan Travis, or Cade Klubnik with 6 months of your salary on the line.
All right. And in all honesty, I love college football, but I'm more of an NFL guy. So I don't know that much about the other guy. I do know Cade Klubnik can hand the ball off really well. I joke about that all the time, but I also saw him the last couple of games do pretty well. Clemson is a perennial ACC champion, and they get into the playoff a lot. So I'm going to go with Cade Klubnik.
Okay. Shocking, to be honest.
Why? I can put bias aside. When I say Clemson is the ACC, I'm not joking. They are. To me, they are. To probably most of the country, that's the only team they really know from the ACC. That's the only team that's won consistently in the last, decade. So I don't like saying that, but that's what I believe they are until somebody proves me wrong. And hopefully they will. I want them to be in the cellar, but they're not going to be, because they found a formula that works, and they're in a weak conference and they can win every single year. So yeah, I can say that I would go with Cade.
All right. I can't.
Clip it, do with it how you want.
No, listen, that's your take. I'm not going to hate on your take. I'm just going to say that it's wrong. Okay? And here's why. I'm going to go with a guy last year. You yourself has said repeatedly that Cade Klubnik last year, when he got his opportunities, was a handoff machine. And he was. Joey B., a noted Clemson fan, just popped up on the stream, said Klubnik is still relatively unknown. It's hard to judge based on last year because his offensive coordinator was a potato.
Was he legally a potato? He might have been.
It's an internet thing, Grandpa.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I really don't know.
I know,
and I literally am a grandpa. So I was only slightly offended by that.
I am going to go with a guy last year who had a 64% completion percentage, who threw for over 3,200 yards and 24 touchdowns to 5 interceptions on the year. That's the guy I'm going to go with.
How many games did they win?
Florida State last year won their bowl game.
No. I mean, okay. All right. Well, that's good. So they went to a bowl. So they won at least 6. Okay. Did they win more games than Clemson? Did they win the ACC?
Again, asking what they did last year is not asking what they're going to do this year. Last year was last year. This year is this year.
If we don't learn from the past. I think so. As we've said, all these polls are ridiculous anyway that are predicting all these things. But one thing you can predict, and you can predict accurately, and you're going to be right probably 95% of the time, is that Clemson's going to win the ACC. So I'm going to go with the team and the player who.
I didn't ask that. I asked what quarterback are you
right.
going with?
So I'm going to go with the quarterback on the better team, and that's what I'm doing.
If I asked you guys to be honest, are you taking Cade Klubnik or are you taking Jordan Travis?
Come on.
I have to imagine, Monday on an award show, Lonzo. Rough.
At 11:42, by the way. At 11:42.
Yeah.
Wow.
One.
I've had a bad month.
You really have. Last week you got smoked.
I did.
It was like 5-2 last week. Actually, no, 5-1. I blew it on Friday. I had a perfect week going. Yeah, I'm going Jordan Travis over Cade Klubnik today. Now, that's not to say I won't get 7 weeks into the season and go, I blew it. But based on what we've seen so far, there's a reason Jordan Travis has the second shortest Heisman Trophy odds in the country. There's a reason for that. And it's those numbers I gave you. Yes, they were 9-3 last year. They ate an L at Wake Forest, at home against Wake Forest by 10, a game that was embarrassing. They took an L the next game, 2 points to the NC State Wolfpack on the road. By the way, a Wolfpack that I just told you, I've got 4th in the ACC this year. It's a good team. And then, of course, they got beat by Clemson at home.
Man, I so much want you to be right. I really do. I hope you're right. I hope Florida State is everything you say that they are. And I hope the doubts about Clemson are true. The fact that they may be on the decline. I hope it's true. I want them to lose every single game. I absolutely do. But I'm putting that aside, and realistically, I can only go by what we've seen the last few years and how good Clemson's been, and Florida State is improving. Will they take that spot back? I hope they do. I will be rooting for them for every game, just for that reason. Because if they rise, Clemson falls, and I'm all for that.
Here's what I'll say to finish that thought up. Florida State, between Jordan Travis and Trey Benson, their running back, I think might have the best quarterback running back duo in college football this year. Then you add Johnny Wilson, a 6'7" wide receiver with speed on the outside. And I know nobody wants to hear it, but you add Jaheim Bell to the tight end spot, a spot Mike Norvell loves to use. I think Florida State, on paper, let me be abundantly clear, has the best offense in the ACC this year. And I think it will play out. I got in the top 5, Miami 5, NC State 4, North Carolina 3, Clemson 2, FSU 1. Come at me, bro. Let's talk about it on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. I say that like we're not about to end the show.
Hey, we're pot stirrers. I didn't know that. That's like saying hot take, isn't it? A pot stirrer is a hot take. Yeah.
A hot taker loves to stir the pot. That is correct.
Yeah. I like to stir the pot so the stuff doesn't get thick. I mean, because
That's how you make a good roux. You gotta stay stirring. If you're gonna make a roux, you better make sure your TV's turned on from a distance because you can't move.
All right, I have no idea what you're saying.
A roux is the
street in France,
like gumbo is made in.
What language are you speaking, boy? I don't even know what that is.
Now let me tell you something.
Here, the Furman Paladins football season opener versus Tennessee Tech on Thursday, August 31st at 5:30 on the Fan Upstate. I'm Tony Naziri, and that's your Sports Flash.
I'm Colleen Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Chiefs were in action for the first time since winning Super Bowl 57, but lost 26-24 to the Saints in New Orleans. Patrick Mahomes played.
We should have an intro to the show where we're just stirring pots. Except I can't touch a wooden spoon, so mine will have to be plastic.
I can't wait for Fight Club this week.
Why?
Because of the ending of Friday Night Smacketh Down.
Oh yeah. It's a work.
The nerds are out in force.
They put him in the veterans thing or whatever that is. They moved his picture to the alumni, I think. Whatever. There's a thing where wrestlers are no longer active and they move you to a thing, and supposedly they did that for him. If you're going to do it, you do it all the way. I mean, Is he married to Trinity or is Jimmy?
Yes, he is.
So I mean, maybe he ends up in Impact. She's in Impact, right? I think she's in Impact.
Yes,
I believe so. Burnt out. Why does that keep showing?
Yeah, my man DeMar was out there having himself a go of it, buddy.
I know, Steven. It's shocking. I mean, I just think that liner's inaccurate. You must have just been talking about Rob. I don't stir pots. I have people for that. Says the guy who's going to go home and cook supper.
Not me. I am leaving here, going to pop in a car with the Bunny boys and head to the ATL for a little Braves Yankees action.
Oh,
tonight.
that's right. I forgot about that. Gonna be one of them shows tomorrow.
Nah, we'll be in Fuego. I should be back by 7, 8, 9, 30 to 10:30. I should be home by like 12:30, 1 o'clock. Although, and I haven't brought this up on air, the screen on my 65-inch decided to bite it last night, so I do not have a TV in the bro cave right now. So my question is, do I pay the Geek Squad $200 to come out and maybe fix it, or do I just bite the bullet and spend the money I was planning on spending on something else on a new TV? For
What's your exorbitant or whatever that? I tried that word. I tried it. Exorbitant.
Hey,
Is it exorbitant? Exorbitant.
Thanks, man.
You make a lot of money as being talent.
I don't make.
At least I hear tell.
I don't make.
So you should
just
be.
go buy a new TV money.
You
I wish I
don't?
did.
Oh, come on.
Scratch that.
Come on.
Not the TV that I want.
TVs have gotten cheaper.
Hey,
I mean,
can I buy an 85-inch for the house and write it off on Odyssey as saying it's required for me to watch football? I feel like you can make that decision for us. Hey, this is Andrew, everybody.
Steven is saying use your Costco card.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I mean, if I buy one, I'm going to Costco. But if I can get this guy to just write off a TV, I mean, how am I supposed to watch the Gamecocks in the
Andrew, do not take him seriously.
If I don't have a TV.
Don't do
You know
that.
what I mean?
Well, don't take him seriously. Look at that jacket. I mean, it's
Only a very serious person can wear this.
it's an award-winning jacket, by the way.
Watch this. Watch this. I can make it silver.
That's just wild,
great.
isn't it?
You look like a fish. Isn't it nice? It's fun. I like it.
But then he ran, so he didn't have to answer.
Good call.
Time to tell you what the X is going on. At least Rob's going to tell you what the X is going on. Our first X is not what Rob wants. It's Ryan Namath.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh no, it's important. You don't know who he is.
Nope.
You don't know who he is. He is a wrestler for AEW. He is the brother of Dolph Ziggler. He is.
Oh yeah.
He got sent home Saturday night.
Yeah, him and Punk had a thing, but Meltzer is reporting that it is not connected to the story in question. Like, he sent out a tweet about Punk from a couple of weeks ago, and the rumor is that Punk got upset and he got sent home, yada, yada, yada. And now the dirt sheets are saying that's not actually what happened. That part had been squashed. He just showed up to Collision because they had something for him. And then once he got there, they were like, yeah, it turns out we don't have anything for you. Bye.
Allegedly. I'm going to go with it was Punk's fault. Without a doubt. Also saw something where Hangman showed up too, and they told him to go somewhere else.
Again, also dirt sheets, because after last Saturday's Collision, Punk came out and just like randomly buried Hangman, but the dirt sheets are also reporting that this is a worked angle. Why wouldn't it be, right?
Yeah.
After all the heat it generated last time, you kind of have to work that angle.
The next thing that's Xing is Jim Harbaugh.
So this is really interesting, and I planned on talking more about this tomorrow because I kind of want to figure out what it's all about. Harbaugh apparently was working with the NCAA to come up with a settlement, and the belief is that settlement was going to go through, and that settlement was going to be the resulting 4-game suspension. But the NCAA's director of compliance came out with a statement over the weekend that said that they could not reach a settlement, and that Jim is not suspended this year because they're going to run through the entire investigation and bring the hammer down. He also said specifically in the middle of it, this is more than just a cheeseburger. Response to that was because a lot of Michigan fans have been like, oh, they're hitting up Harbaugh for buying a recruit a cheeseburger during the no contact COVID phase a couple of years back. And that is not the case. He is in trouble because according to the NCAA, he lied to the NCAA about it. What he did was a level 2 violation. At the end of the day, they would have probably had to give up like a couple of scholarships and that's it. Outright lying to the NCAA will bring the hammereth down. And that's what happened here. So Harbaugh may coach all 4 games and then catch a season-long suspension next year, which I believe would be the end of the Jim Harbaugh days at Michigan. Good luck, Ryan Day.
Do it this year. I mean, you know, if
Too
you're
late.
gonna
Gotta go through the
do it
process.
this
Too
year.
late.
All right, I was going to do more, but I just want to again thank everybody for allowing us to represent you as the best sports show in the entire state, not just the upstate, not the Midlands, not the down there on the coast, but the entire state of South Carolina. Thank you. It's awesome to represent you, and we will go forward doing our best to be even better this year.
Echo the sentiments entirely. Thank you guys so much for listening every day, for participating, whether you're jumping on the stream or tweeting or calling or whatever. You guys made this possible, and we are both very sincerely appreciative to you. And I will also say one more time, the most enormous statement of gratitude I can muster up to the great one. Lonzo makes my job easier every single day. And on top of that, is an absolute wizard when he puts stuff together, which is why we've got two. So thank you, Lonzo. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to all of you guys for being part of the show, for letting us call this dumb thing we do a job. We appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better. Why? Because we want another one on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah. There you go, kids. That's the show. And I'm going to go take this jacket off because it is hot, and it has been for the better part of half an hour now.
By the way, thanks, Spur Daddy. This thing's like 15 years old, though.
Spur Daddy said, guess I'm a pot stirrer. Yeah. We're good.
Do we start a pot like this, though?
You have to. You got to bounce a little bit.
What's the name of that dance? I don't know what there's a dance. But it's
well,
like,
this is the cabbage
it's
patch.
like that. So
Yeah.
so just doing the Cabbage Patch, but we're starting the
Sideways.
pot. Yeah. Okay.
I guess. All right, dudes. Y'all are awesome again. Thank you so much for hanging out with us every day. We appreciate it. You guys on the stream make the show better with your interactions and everything, and we are grateful. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in Atlanta tonight. Go Bravos. I'll report back tomorrow. Probably going like 4 monsters deep before the show starts. We'll see. Have a good one. Goodbye.